Chapter 13. Xiong Tianyan was a famous medicine fanatic, so when he saw a new type of pill, his blood boiled. Therefore, he couldn't wait to know the effects of this pill. Therefore, he said to Meng Yingying, "I would like to ask Miss Meng to introduce this new type of pill." How would Meng Yingying know what kind of pill she was refining? Chu Tian saw the opportunity and said, "This is called the Crimson Lotus pill. Its effects are similar to the Fiery Fury pill, but it can increase one's strength by a lot and last longer. In addition, the side effects of the Crimson Lotus pill are relatively mild. After the effects of the pill are over, it will only cause the body to be extremely tired. One will only need to rest for a few days to recover. It won't harm one's foundation, and it won't cause one's cultivation to regress." Xiong Tianyan was deeply shocked. This was 10 times better than the Fiery Fury pill. The side effects of the Fiery Fury pill could cause severe damage to the body, and even cause one's cultivation to regress. Unless it was a matter of life and death, who would be willing to pay this price? Once the Crimson Lotus pill was released, would there still be a market for the Fiery Fury pill? One of Li Chongyun's proudest experiments was actually so weak. The entire alchemist's world would be shocked. Xiong Tianyan felt his blood boil. If Meng Yingying could refine an extraordinary pill, then how terrifying would that mysterious youth be? "I don't need to announce the winner of this competition." Xiong Tianyan personally handed over the crystal card Yi Feng gave to Meng Yingying. "Miss Meng Yingying is so young, yet you are able to refine such an excellent pill. This old bear is full of admiration. Please accept the spoils of war." "Impossible. You guys are colluding to put on a show." Yi Feng couldn't accept this result and roared out in anger. Xiong Tianyan became angry when he heard this. "I, Xiong Tianyan, am an upright person. Only you Ye family people like to do this kind of despicable business. If you don't accept it, then bring this pill to Li Chongyin to be appraised. If my judgment is wrong, then I'll chop off my head and give it to you to use as a toilet bowl." Yi Feng's eyes turned red. "You guys are definitely colluding to trick me. Otherwise, how could this trash defeat me? This was impossible. This was impossible. You must be lying to me." The loss of money was secondary. This was a huge blow to him. Xiong Tianyan was furious. "Don't go too far. Can't the Ye family afford to lose? It's impossible for me to lose." Yi Feng lost his mind in anger. "I want to duel with you. Fight me if you have the guts. Trash will always be trash. You wouldn't have been able to defeat me if you didn't have any tricks up your sleeve." Meng Yingying became hot-headed. "Duel it is. I'm not afraid of you." Xiong Tianyan wanted to stop him. Yi Feng was at the peak of the 3rd rank of body refinement. According to Zhang Liqing's rules, anyone who reached the 3rd rank of body refinement before the age of 18 was qualified to become a direct disciple. Meng Yingying had always been a registered disciple, which meant that her strength had never reached the 3rd rank of body refinement. Chu Tian lazily yawned and irresponsibly said, "It doesn't matter, let them compete." Yi Feng rushed forward a few steps and roared. His fists glowed with a faint white magic power. Losing to Meng Yingying in alchemy was a fact that he could not accept. Then he would use his fists to regain his face. Even if he did not kill Meng Yingying today, he would cripple her. "In Tiannan City, I will not allow an alchemy genius to appear." Yi Feng did not hold back. He gathered all his strength and punched towards Meng Yingying's head. A mere double body refinement. How could she dodge? "Go die. Go die for me." Yi Feng suffered a huge blow. His mind completely collapsed, and he completely lost his mind. The only way for him to get rid of this shadow was to kill Meng Yingying. "So slow. You're the trash." Meng Yingying tenderly shouted. Her whole body glowed with magic power. That seemingly slender and weak leg quickly lifted up and kicked out with a whoosh. Yi Feng did not make any defensive preparations. The kick directly landed on his lower abdomen. It was like kicking a sack. He flew 3 meters away and fell flat on his face. "Wah! What a good dog kick." Chu Tian shouted exaggeratedly. He danced and cheered. Meng Yingying won. Meng Yingying was stunned. "I won. No way. I really won." Chu Tian rushed forward and grabbed Meng Yingying's small hand. He raised it high and shouted to the people around him. "That blind idiot dares to say that Meng Yingying is trash. If you have the guts, come out." Meng Yingying's brain had completely short-circuited. Everyone including Xiong Tianyan was also stunned. Meng Yingying's strength was actually this strong. That kick was at least at the 4th rank of body transformation? And it was not just at the 4th rank, but at the peak of the 4th rank. 16 years old at the peak of the 4th rank. This kind of cultivation talent was absolutely first class in Tiannan City. Not to mention, Meng Yingying had an incredible alchemy talent. Who would dare to say she was trash? Who would dare to say she was a vase? Who would dare to look down on the Meng family's second miss? Everyone's eyes gradually changed. They revealed fear and respect. Meng Yingying felt like she was in a dream. All these years of humiliation and self-abasement were suddenly washed away. Her eyes were moist. She wanted to cry, but she did not want to lose face. She clenched her teeth and did not let the tears fall. How many people looked down on her? How many people thought she was a vase? But today, she could hold her head high. She used her actions to tell everyone that she was not a trash vase. Of course, all of this was single-handedly created by that mysterious youth. When Meng Yingying was in a daze, Yifeng suddenly crawled up. His hair was disheveled like a madman. He pulled out a dagger from his waist. "I will kill you." The cold sword edge suddenly pierced forward. Xiong Tianyan was completely enraged this time. "You really think I don't exist?" The power of his spirit was suddenly released. A fist landed on Yifeng's chest. His gorgeous white clothes were instantly burnt black. He screamed and fell several feet away. At least a dozen bones were broken. He spat out a large mouthful of blood and completely fainted. "Young master." 2 mercenaries hurriedly dragged Yifeng away. After checking his injuries, their faces suddenly turned ashen. Xiong Tianyan's fist had shattered several main meridians. Even if his injuries were healed, his cultivation would still drop, and there might even be serious side effects. Steward Ye's heart was like dead ashes. If Yifeng was half crippled, would he still have his status? "The Ye family will not let you go." Noisy. Scram. Xiong Tianyan sent Steward Yi flying with a single palm. He really was like the rumors. He had an explosive temper and was incomparably overbearing. He was not afraid of offending anyone. "Go back and tell Yi Xiong that Tiannan City does not belong to the Ye family. Tell him to restrain himself. Also, his son was crippled by me. If he wants revenge, then come. Don't implicate others." The 2 mercenaries hurriedly left the scene. Seeing this, Meng Yingying felt a bit guilty. "Uncle Xiong Tianyan, I'm sorry. We caused you to offend the Ye family." "Ha, ha, ha, what are you saying?" Xiong Tianyan laughed twice. "It's not the first time I've offended the Ye family, so it doesn't matter if I offend them or not. I have a request that I hope you can consider." "Of course we will try our best." Xiong Tianyan's fierce-looking face revealed a serious expression. His eyes burned as he looked at Chu Tian. "I want to worship you as my master." Meng Yingying's mouth dropped open in shock. What kind of person was Xiong Tianyan? He was the managing elder of the Alchemist Association, the boss of Tiannan City's alchemy market. His brother was the general of Tiannan City. He had a lot of halos on his head. If he wanted money, he had money. If he wanted power, he had status. If he wanted power, he had power. If he wanted power, he had status. If he wanted power, he had power. If he wanted power, he had power. But he actually wanted to worship Chu Tian as his master in front of everyone. This kind of thing was not something a normal person could do. Who had ever seen a successful and famous billionaire kowtow to a vagrant and beg to be his godson? This kind of thing, not to mention whether it was reasonable or not. Just this kind of courage was worthy of admiration. Just like his nickname medicine fanatic, Xiong Tianyan was extremely obsessed with alchemy. Chu Tian was able to make Meng Yingying refine the crimson lotus pill in one night. This must mean that he was outstanding. As the saying goes, age was not a problem for those who were more capable. I don't accept disciples. Facing a person of Xiong Tianyan's level, Chu Tian did not even think before decisively rejecting him. This once again shocked everyone's heart. Not only was Xiong Tianyan not angry, he even felt that Chu Tian was not ordinary. He anxiously scratched his head. "Can't you reconsider? Just treat it as a free bodyguard. You have to know that you have already offended the Ye family." "No need. I definitely won't accept disciples. You should look for another expert." This matter is not negotiable. Chu Tian shook his head and patted Meng Yingying next to him. The Ye family will soon come for revenge. We should quickly leave this place. Wait, I'm sincere. I'll pay the tuition, however much you want. Chu Tian left the alchemy market with Meng Yingying in front of countless people's shocked and admiring gazes. Meng Yingying walked out and said, Uncle Xiong is a very good person, and is also very powerful. If he becomes your disciple, it will be good for both sides. Chu Tian shook his head. I don't like restrictions, and preaching is all about fate. If I'm in a good mood, I'll give a few pointers, and if I'm in a bad mood, I'll kick him away. This is my style. As for a master and disciple relationship, forget it. If I really wanted to accept a disciple, not to mention that he is still a step away from the awakened soul realm, even if he was an awakened soul cultivator. So what? Awakened soul cultivators were all aloof giants that were the center of attention. Chu Tian did not seem to care about them at all. Meng Yingying helplessly rolled her eyes and did not say anything. She took out the 5,000 gold coins crystal card from her pocket and felt like she was dreaming. Even if she gave half to Chu Tian, the remaining 2,500 gold coins was still a large sum of money. The two of them returned home. At the door, a skinny old man quickly came to greet them. Second miss, why did you come back so late? The young miss was worried to death. Housekeeper Zhao, what did you say? Elder sister already knows? Housekeeper Zhao gave a heavy sigh. My second miss, you've really gone too far this time. The news of Master Zhang's expulsion has spread. The young miss wanted to find you to understand the situation, but she stayed in your room for a whole night and didn't see you come back. I'll go explain to elder sister, Housekeeper Zhao said with a bitter smile. You don't know, but this time the young miss is really disappointed and angry. Meng Yingying stomped her foot. Then get out of the way. I'll go explain everything. She'll understand me. A middle-aged man wearing armor walked out of the door and said with a straight face, The young miss has ordered that when the second miss comes back, she must first reflect for a day. Captain Meng, what did you say? These are the words of the young miss. Don't worry about it. I'll talk after I see elder sister. I'm very sorry. I only follow the orders of the young miss. Captain Meng's face was as cold as ice, not at all friendly. Two maids walked to the left and right of Meng Yingying and softly said, Second miss, Captain Meng is following orders and can't disobey them. You should come with us. Okay. I know. Meng Yingying was a bit afraid of Captain Meng and stomped her foot. I'll go, you're so inflexible. Meng Yingying was taken to the detention room. Captain Meng didn't leave, but looked at Chu Tian with an unfriendly face. You're the person that the second miss brought back, right? The young miss wants to see you. Captain Meng was the captain of the Meng family's guards, and was at the 7th rank of body refinement. In the entire Tiannan city, he was at the top. He was loyal and devoted to the Meng family. Chu Tian wasn't Captain Meng's opponent, so even if he wanted to run he couldn't. Since the young miss wanted to see him, then he might as well go take a look. Captain Meng led the way to a small garden. Go in. This posture didn't seem right. Did the young miss want to meet him alone? Chu Tian rubbed his nose, and didn't think too much about it as he immediately walked in. The small garden was quiet and peaceful, with a small pavilion in the center. A tall beauty dressed in white. Her appearance was similar to Meng Yingying's. She wore a white dress that was like a veil, making her seem like she was standing in the mist. She stood quietly in the pavilion, like a beautiful painting, making all the flowers pale in comparison, making people lose their focus. The young Miss Black hair was meticulously combed. She was dignified and beautiful, noble and steady. Her skin was like snow, her long legs were straight, and her buttocks were plump. She was filled with a mature charm. Her eyebrows revealed the strength of a strong woman. Chu Tian looked at the young miss with an appreciative gaze. Beautiful, beautiful. Sisters are the best in the world. 2 nights ago, he only heard her voice but didn't see her. That voice already made his heart itch. Today he saw Meng Qinggu in person. She really was a beauty that could cause the downfall of a city. She was even more beautiful than he had imagined. In addition, her figure was the most perfect, mature and attractive of all the beauties he had seen so far. Her magnificent breasts, perfectly round buttocks, and long legs all exuded a mature charm. Meng Yingying was like a big child. She was silly and naive. Therefore, being with her was very relaxing and comfortable. Compared to Meng Qinggu, she seemed to lack a bit of femininity. Nangong Yin could also be called beautiful, but her character was very shrewish and unruly. On the other hand, Meng Qingwu's elegant and dignified noble temperament could arouse a man's most primitive desire to conquer. Humph! Have you seen enough? A magnetic voice sounded in his ears. A trace of deep disgust flashed in the young Miss' eyes. Chu Tian realized that he was a bit rude. The young Miss's mood was not good. He didn't want to touch her, so he immediately cupped his hands and said, "This lowly one Chu Tian has seen the young Miss. May I ask what instructions does the young Miss have?" Meng Qinggu snorted. Her first impression was very bad. Although this guy looked fair and handsome, he was most likely not a good thing. She coldly asked, "What is your origin? What is your motive for approaching Yingying?" "Young Miss, what you said is wrong. The second Miss brought me into the Meng family, so how can you say that I approached her? As for my origin, you can ask her. You don't need to explain too much about this." Chu Tian tried his best to be humble and modest, but reality proved that this was a very difficult thing to do. A person's frivolous nature was hard to conceal. The young Miss felt that this person was even more hypocritical. A 16-year-old who was able to support the family business in the face of a crisis, and support the tottering Southern Cloud commerce. To say that she didn't have a bit of ability was impossible. Meng Qingwu's eyes were very sharp. With one glance, she could see that Chu Tian was not a servant. For him to approach Meng Yingying, it was hard to say that he didn't have a wolf's heart. That pair of beautiful and moving eyes immediately filled with a strong hostility. Chu Tian helplessly sighed. No wonder the young Miss wanted to see me. They were purely here to denounce him for his crimes. Chapter 14. Meng Qinggu was shrouded in a strong aura, as she used a sharp tone to reprimand him. Yingying is naturally kind and pure. She is now at the rebellious age and full of curiosity, so it is inevitable that she will be deceived by people with flowery words. If you dare to do anything out of line and let Yingying suffer even the slightest bit of harm, even if I have to give it my all, I will not let you go. Chu Tian did not do anything shameful, so he had a clear conscience. He clearly said, "This is definitely a misunderstanding. I really did not do anything that goes against the heavens." Meng Qinggu coldly snorted. "Then let me ask you, did you take Yingying to spend the night outside?" Chu Tian knew that this matter could not be concealed. "That's right." Pa. The wooden armrest was crushed. "You still dare to say that you did not do anything?" Meng Qingwu's dignified and beautiful face revealed an uncontrollable anger. "Why did you take Yingying out? What did you do?" Chu Tian righteously said, "We only went to make money. It is rare for the second Miss to have the idea of starting a business. So shouldn't you encourage her as an older sister?" Would Meng Qinggu believe this kind of nonsense? How could she not know what her little sister was made of? It must be this evil thief deceiving Yingying, using her strong heart to trick her outside. That beautiful face that could cause the downfall of a city was flushed with anger. Her full chest was heaving up and down, making her look incomparably beautiful. This angry appearance was even more amorous than the stern appearance of a strong woman. "You dare to quibble? I'll give you one more chance. If you don't tell the truth or dare to hide even half a word, I will not let you off lightly." The young Miss' attitude became even more severe. However, this kind of indiscriminate questioning made Chu Tian a bit uncomfortable. This young Miss, from the beginning, had a long face and directly labeled Chu Tian as a bad person. How could he explain this? Then in young Miss' opinion, what should I do when I take the second Miss out? Meng Qinggu was very angry. She couldn't tolerate anything related to her sister. "I don't care what you did, but you are a servant of the Meng clan. As a servant, not only did you not remind your master, but you also taught him bad things. Based on this, you should be punished with a rod and banished from the house forever." Fuck me. Preposterous. The young Miss was being unreasonable. "Do you really think I'm your servant?" Meng Qinggu pulled a long face. "Why don't you tell me the truth?" Right. We're going to get a room." Chu Tian was also stubborn. He decided to deliberately piss off the eldest miss, so he shouted, "You stayed in the same room all night and didn't sleep. Are you satisfied with this answer?" Meng Qinggu was like she was struck by lightning. Her face turned pale and her body couldn't help trembling. You actually did this kind of thing that is worse than a beast. Yingying is only 16 years old. If I said I didn't do anything, would you believe me?" Chu Tian sneered a few times and said, "You don't even believe your own little sister, and only know how to put shit on us. If this gets out, Meng Yingying's reputation will be ruined. Have you ever thought about her? You're using this kind of method to protect your little sister? Big breasts but no brains, acting arbitrarily. With someone like you at the helm of Southern Cloud Commerce, it's no wonder they're half dead. I think they're not far from going bankrupt." Shut up. How could Meng Qinggu not care about her little sister's reputation? She met Chu Tian alone, because she wanted to secretly deal with this matter, to prevent rumors from getting out. "You want me to shut up? I won't shut up," Chu Tian said with provocative words. "I think people like you, most likely lack of love since childhood, causing your mind to be twisted. So you imagine everyone to be evil and despicable. You think of everything as dirty, as if there are no good people in this world. Meng Yingying is so kind and innocent. Having a sister with a dark heart, it really affects her mental health. I'm worried about her future growth." "That's enough." Meng Qinggu completely exploded. She was so angry that she fiercely slapped over. Although she was busy with her family business and had no time to cultivate, and her body was not good, affecting her cultivation, Meng Qinggu was at the 4th rank of body refinement. If she wanted to suppress someone at the 3rd rank of body refinement, it would have been an easy matter. Unfortunately, she met Chu Tian, and Chu Tian just happened to not be someone easy to deal with. Chu Tian dodged to the side. "Wah! You little girl, your mouth can't win and you hit me. Not only is your heart dark, but you also have violent tendencies. Who would dare to marry you in the future?" Meng Qinggu angrily pounced over again. Chu Tian ducked to avoid the fist. Both legs kicked out, he pounced forward, hugging the soft and slender waist. In a flash, he pressed Meng Qinggu against the pillar. The two's bodies were tightly intertwined. It had to be said that this girl's body was devilish. The places that should be big were big, and the places that should be slender were slender. That orchid-like body fragrance drilled into the nostrils, making people feel refreshed. Meng Qinggu had never had skin contact with a man before. At this moment, her mind was in chaos. Her fighting style was already without any rules. Like a shrew fighting, she scratched and hammered. "You evil slave! You actually dared to fight back. Was this woman crazy? You already hit me, and you expect me not to fight back?" Meng Qinggu did not have much battle experience. In her panic, she did not even use her magic power. Chu Tian lightly twisted and restrained Meng Qinggu. First, he pressed her 2 arms behind her back. Then he used his body to press her against the railing of the pavilion, making her round and big but stick up high. This position was not very elegant. "Quickly let go of me." In a moment of desperation, Meng Qinggu released her magic power and quickly broke free from one hand. Suddenly, she grabbed a jade hairpin on her head and pulled it out to stab towards Chu Tian's crotch. In the end, she avoided the crucial spot and stabbed Chu Tian's left leg. Fresh blood immediately flowed out. Hiss! Chu Tian sucked in a breath of cold air from the pain. At the same time, he broke out in cold sweat. "Damn it, luckily I dodged quickly. Otherwise, I would be without descendants." Chu Tian did not expect that after coming here, his first injury would be an injury. And it was actually in the hands of a woman. This could be said to have completely infuriated Chu Tian. Chu Tian was actually a very magnanimous person. Under normal circumstances, he would not bear grudges. Because if there was a grudge, he would take revenge on the spot. This time was no exception. Chu Tian used all his strength to slap on her peach-like buttocks. "Pa!" Meng Qinggu was stunned on the spot. "This fellow is spanking my buttocks." For over 20 years, her body was as clean as ice and as clean as jade. Her hands had never been touched by anyone before. Today it was defiled by this fellow. Meng Qinggu wanted to cry out in horror. In the end, her mouth was covered and she could only let out low moans. That voluptuous body was currently struggling desperately in Chu Tian's embrace. Her two eyes spewed out flames of fury, wishing that she could burn Chu Tian to ashes. From her eyes, one could tell that this crazy woman would not let the matter rest. All right then. Hitting once is hitting. Hitting 100 times is also hitting. Since you are not obedient, then I will hit until you are obedient. I don't believe that I can't tame a wild horse like you. Chu Tian gave another slap to her full buttocks. He did not know what this girl ate to grow up. Her buttocks were not small at all. Moreover, they were tight and bouncy. Meng Qingwu felt as if she had been electrocuted. Her whole body trembled and her cheeks flushed. This was the first time in her life that she had been hit. Chu Tian was also merciless. The intense pain stimulated her nerves. At the same time, it was like an electric current had passed through her whole body. There was actually a strange kind of numbness. You did not investigate clearly and judged based on assumptions. You deserved to be hit. You thought that your identity was noble, and looked down on the servants. You deserved to be hit. You used violence when you couldn't reason with me. You deserve to be hit. You almost made me die without descendants. You deserve to be hit. Chu Tian slapped her plump buttocks more than 10 times. As for Meng Qingwu, her mind was blank. It was as if she had been beaten senseless. Thus, she had completely given up resisting. Meng Qingwu had always been a high and mighty goddess in people's hearts. She was a strong woman that could not be violated. No one had ever dared to treat her like this before. Meng Qingwu was even more indignant. She actually had a strange feeling. The pain was accompanied by a trace of pleasure. As the number of times increased, it became more and more intense. She even discovered that her body had some involuntary reactions. She really wanted to kill herself. Meng Qingwu's eyes were filled with tears. She was like a bullied little girl. You insulted me like this. I will not let you off. Oh. She did not finish her words. She got hit on her buttocks again. Meng Qingwu's cheeks were so red that it seemed like water could drip out. Chu Tian was not afraid of anything. This respect is mutual. If you don't respect me, how can you expect me to respect you? I know you can't tolerate me. At most, I will just leave your family. You really think that you are someone important? As he said that, he slapped her again. Who asked you to be disobedient? Who asked you to throw a tantrum? At this time, a voice came from the direction of the garden's exit. Captain Meng had brought people in. Quickly let go of me. Meng Qingwu finally began to panic. If this scene was seen by others, tomorrow the whole city would go crazy with rumors that Meng Qingwu was having an affair with a servant in the garden. For a woman who was very headstrong, she simply did not have the courage to continue living. Apologize first. You, another slap. You apologize. Fine, fine, fine. Meng Qingwu was really about to cry. Today I was too impulsive. Can you let go of me first? Let's talk this out. Is that okay? Chu Tian saw that Meng Qingwu finally admitted defeat. Only then did he let go. He snorted and said, It would be strange if I believed you. I know that you will soon come to take revenge on me. I don't want to stay here anymore. I will leave now. You sisters take care. The burning sensation on Meng Qingwu's buttocks was still so strong. When she saw Chu Tian limping away, she was a bit absent-minded for a moment. Could it be that she really wronged him? Meng Qingwu was not a person with a fiery temper. She was usually steady and cautious. Only when it came to the problem of Meng Yingying being bullied, she absolutely had zero tolerance. Therefore, when she found out that Meng Yingying secretly stayed out at night with a strange man, the first thought that came to her mind was that her sister had been cheated. Because of her concern for her sister, she let anger get to her head and lost her usual rationality. Even if I really wronged him, he couldn't explain it properly. He had to use words to provoke me and make me angry. He even spanked my buttocks. Just based on this, he could not be forgiven. If I just let him go like this, it would be too easy for him. Meng Qingwu hurriedly tidied up her clothes. It was just that when she walked, she still felt uncomfortable. That fellow was too ruthless and her buttocks were all swollen. At this time, Captain Meng brought a few people over. Captain Meng's expression was very anxious, as if he had encountered something important. Eldest Miss Xiong Tianyan has come to visit. He is clamoring to see second Miss saying that he has something important to discuss with you. The Alchemist Association's executive elder Xiong Tianyan? That's him. Why would such a big shot personally come here? Meng Qinggu could not be bothered to find Chu Tian for revenge. Xiong Tianyan is not only the executive elder of the Alchemist Association, his strength has reached the peak of the 9th body refinement level. He also has the powerful general's mansion as his backing. I absolutely cannot offend him. I'll make some preparations and immediately head over. A big shot paying a visit was definitely not a small matter. Meng Qinggu first put aside her personal grudges and immediately went to see Xiong Tianyan. Xiong Tianyan sat in the living room and paced back and forth. Where's Meng Yingying? I want to see her. Meng Qinggu walked over. Elder Xiong's presence is Qinggu's honor. I'm Yingying's older sister. I wonder what matter the elder has come for? Xiong Tianyan went straight to the point. I've thought it through. I want to take a master, take Meng Yingying as my master. Meng Qinggu almost had a heart attack from hearing Xiong Tianyan's words. Chapter 15. Xiong Tianyan has 5 major identities. First, a half-awakened soul expert. Second, a famous alchemist. Third, Tiannan City's Alchemist Guild's managing elder. Fourth, Tiannan City's General House's General Xiong Bing's younger brother. Fifth, Tiannan City's Alchemy Market's major shareholder, owning many channels and industries. Which one of these 5 identities doesn't make people admire and worship him? After Nanyun commerce was reduced to a second-rate commerce, there was no chance for them to climb up to a high branch like Xiong Tianyan. Now, Xiong Tianyan personally came to their door and unexpectedly announced that he wanted to worship Meng Yingying as his master. How could Meng Qinggu not be shocked? Unimaginable. Unbelievable. If Nanyun commerce had Xiong Tianyan as an umbrella, would her enemies dare to openly deal with her? This shocking decision was actually made by Xiong Tianyan after careful consideration. Chu Tian is a true expert. Since Chu Tian doesn't accept disciples, why not take a roundabout strategy and worship Meng Yingying as his master? From Meng Yingying, he can learn Chu Tian's knowledge? A true alchemist fanatic, for the sake of learning more profound alchemy. What is this little bit of face? If others understand, but you don't, then it's worth learning. This is Xiong Tianyan's style. Not to mention, Meng Yingying is young, at the peak of the 4th rank of body refinement. If you really want to compare her talent, she is definitely not worse than Xiong Tianyan. Meng Qinggu tactfully probed. Meng family is a small family, and Elder Xiong is a famous person. Wouldn't doing this be detrimental to his reputation? Moreover, Meng Yingying's ability, how could I not know? She doesn't even have the qualifications to be Elder Xiong's disciple. Xiong Tianyan slammed the table. You women are so wishy-washy. I, Xiong Tianyan, will say this here. If I can't become your disciple today, I, Xiong Tianyan, will not leave this place. Meng Qinggu was a very cautious person. Because she had been scheming for a long time, she didn't dare trust anyone or anything. Without understanding the cause and effect of the matter, she didn't dare make a decision, so she thought of a delaying tactic. Yingying has just returned home and is resting. How about I give you an answer when she wakes up? Is Master asleep? Then let Master rest first. Don't disturb her. I have plenty of time. Even with Meng Qinggu's temperament, she wanted to scold someone. Xiong Tianyan was also a reputable figure. How thick-skinned. Nanyun Commerce had just begun to lay out their plans for the pharmaceutical market. Xiong Tianyan was undoubtedly very beneficial to their development. Only, she didn't believe that there was such a good thing as a meat pie falling from the sky. She had to first calm down Xiong Tianyan and ask her little sister about it before making a decision. Young Miss Nangong Yin, Master Zhang Liqing has come to visit. Housekeeper Zhao ran over while gasping for breath. What? Nangong Yin? Zhang Liqing? Meng Qingwu's brain buzzed, like it had been stirred into a paste. Xiong Tianyan was already not simple. Now there were 2 more powerful figures. What was going on? Were there any connections between these matters? Nangong Yin, the mayor's only daughter. Her talent was astonishing. Because of her fire phoenix source spirit, her name spread far and wide. She was destined to become a top powerhouse with limitless potential. Zhang Liqing, one of the most influential figures in South Sky City. He was the president of the South Sky City Symbol Masters Guild. He was the authority in South Sky City's array and symbol making. His cultivation was unfathomable, and his connections were astonishing. Countless people wanted to curry favor with him. Even the mayor had to show him some respect. Even the South Cloud Commerce in its heyday did not have this kind of honor. Meng Qingwu forced herself to calm down. Although there must be a reason behind it. Since Zhang Liqing had appeared, the possibility of a conspiracy was not high. Because with Zhang Liqing and Nangong Yun's ability and power, if they really wanted to deal with South Cloud Commerce, there was no need for any conspiracy. A plainly dressed old man stood outside. A red-haired, red-clothed hot beauty stood next to him. Meng Qingwu personally came out to greet them. She nervously cupped her hands in greeting. Master Zhang, Miss Nangong. Qingwu did not know that the two of you were visiting, so I did not go out to greet you. Please forgive me. Meng Qingwu looked at the old man. It really was Zhang Liqing. This was South Sky City's symbol-making authority. South Cloud Commerce's core was talismans. How could she not be nervous when such a leading figure came? She couldn't help but ask. Since the two of you are here, do you have something to say? Could it be that Yingying did something wrong so? Zhang Liqing smiled and shook his head. Meng Yingying's matter was a misunderstanding. I hope you don't take it to heart. Take it to heart? How would I dare? Meng Qingwu's heart was filled with joy. Could it be that he was preparing to take back Meng Yingying? Nangong Yun interrupted. Meng Qingwu Jiejia, I thought you weren't bad before, but now I've discovered that you're not a good person. Meng Qingwu's heart skipped a beat. Her forehead was covered in sweat. Why did she say that? What did I do wrong? Nangong Yun's fierce name was known by everyone. If she was angry, she could tear down the entire Meng family. She couldn't remember when she had offended this evil star. Meng Qingwu was a little scared. Qingwu doesn't know what I did wrong. I asked Miss Nangong to teach me. Nangong Yun casually said. Since you found a real expert, why did you let Yingying become this old man's disciple? Isn't this letting others see a joke? You're simply deliberately insulting this old man. Zhang Liqing also nodded with a depressed face. Meng Qingwu was at a loss. Expert, where did this expert come from? Could there be someone more powerful than Zhang Liqing in South Sky City? Even if there was such a person, it couldn't possibly be related to Nangong Yun Commerce. You're being too serious, I don't understand. Alright, stop pretending. We all know. Nangong Yun threw a heavy sack on the ground. This is the 10 to 20,000 gold coins that I scraped together. In order to raise this money, I almost sold my underwear. Where is Meng Yingying? I want to invest, I want to join, I want to work together with her. Nangong Yin wanted to invest in Meng Yingying? The Nangong family was a super military aristocratic family. It wasn't something that a mercenary family like the Ye family could compare to. Nangong Yun, as the mayor's daughter, had a high status in South Sky City. Not to mention investing money. Just a word from her would have a lot of weight, enough to make countless forces fear her. It must be known that Nangong Yin was a true genius. At the age of 18, she had already stepped into the peak 9th body refinement layer. Furthermore, she had a powerful god-level spirit. No one wanted to go against this kind of person. Even though Meng Qingwu was extremely intelligent, she still couldn't figure out the crux of the problem. This old man is looking for you because of this. Zhang Liqing took out a scroll from his sleeve and handed it over to Meng Qingwu with both hands. This is the rock skin talisman design. I'm giving it to Nangong Yun Commerce. From now on, this old man won't take a single cent of the profits. It will all belong to Nangong Yun Commerce. Another big meat pie falling from the sky. Meng Qingwu was already dizzy from being smashed. Zhang Liqing smiled and said, if it wasn't for the help provided by Meng Yingying, how could this old man obtain such a perfect talisman design? Fishing for fame is already very scary. How could I dare to profit from it? This gift to Nangong Yun Commerce, I think it's the most suitable. If you still think highly of me, then accept it. I only have one request. I want to see Second Miss and that expert. Hey, what about my investment matter? Give me a definite answer. Nangong Yin loudly shouted. You too, you too. Meng Qingwu wiped her sweat and said, Ying just went to rest. Why don't you go to the hall and have a cup of tea? I'll discuss it with Ying and then give you a definite answer? That's good. Of course there's no problem. Anyway, we don't have anything to do today. Nan Gongyan nodded. But I'll say the ugly words first. In order to raise money for this investment, I almost sold my underwear. So if you don't give me face, then I'll be very unhappy. If I'm unhappy, then I'll make a lot of people unhappy with me. Meng Qingwu's heart skipped a beat. She could only helplessly smile. Yes, Miss Nangong, please. The two escorted her to the hall and sat down. Meng Qingwu ran like a 100-meter race to Meng Yingying's residence. Without even greeting, she directly opened the door. This series of events was too strange. She must understand the cause and effect. At this time, the unaware Meng Yingying was lying on the bed sleeping soundly. Meng Yingying drowsily sat up. 1 day has passed. Meng Qingwu anxiously asked. What happened yesterday? Quickly tell me. Meng Yingying honestly replied. I went with Chu Tian to sell steak. Then we went to the medicine refining market. That's it. Yes, what's wrong? Meng Qingwu described what just happened. Why did Xiong Tianyan want to be apprenticed? Why did Nangong Yin want to invest? Why did Zhang Liqing take the initiative to express goodwill to our family? What the hell is going on? Ah, you know all about it. I wanted to hide it for a while and give elder sister a surprise. Since elder sister already knows, then let me tell you. Meng Yingying barefooted jumped down from the bed. She immediately beamed with joy and said, The things I experienced last night are more than the past 10 years. Meng Yingying began to describe. First she went to sell steak and met some hoodlums. Then she went to the medicine refining market and met the Ye family. Finally, she was involved in the competition. With Chu Tian's help, Meng Yingying finally defeated Yi Feng and won 5,000 gold coins. You don't know. At that time, Yi Feng fiercely rushed over. My young Miss Yingying did not panic. She used a dog kick and sent that arrogant Yi Feng flying on the spot. Elder sister, did you know? Everyone was shocked. The way people look at me has changed. Meng Yingying was still dancing with joy. Her eyebrows were dancing as she gestured. Meng Qingwu grabbed her wrist and carefully felt it. She gradually revealed a shocked expression. Everything else could be made up, but cultivation would not lie. Meng Yingying had already reached the peak fourth body refinement layer, the same cultivation as her. Meng Yingying handed over the crystal card and proudly said, This is my spoils of war. Elder sister, please take a look. This was a merchant's special crystal card. It was set up by the country. In order to make it easier for merchants to do business, every city would set up a gold bank. Merchants did not need to carry large amounts of cash. They only needed to use the card to exchange. The lowest limit for a crystal card was 1,000 gold coins. This crystal card really did have a large sum of 5,000 gold coins. Chu Tian. This entire matter revolved around Chu Tian. That fellow was Chu Tian? He didn't lie. Last night he really did bring Yingying to make money, and he really did bring Meng Yingying to rent a room. It was just that it was a refining room. From beginning to end, he was helping Meng Yingying, but she had misunderstood him for no reason at all. Meng Qingwu absent-mindedly sat on the stool. Where did you find this person? Meng Yingying giggled and said with a proud face. I bought him. Bought. Amazing, right? Meng Yingying proudly raised her head. This was probably the most amazing investment she had made in her life. I spent half a year's worth of pocket money to buy him from the slave market. That's right, where did this fellow go? Why didn't he come to see me? This is bad, he might have already left in anger from me. What? Where does he live? Take me there. He lives in the small room next to the kitchen. Meng Yingying hurriedly brought her sister to Chu Tian's small room. The small room was empty. Chu Tian had long since disappeared. Meng Yingying immediately panicked. She searched inside and out several times, but could not find a trace of him. Where did he go? Meng Qingwu felt very guilty and sad. I'm sorry, this is all my fault. I thought he was plotting against you, so I said a few harsh words. Who knew that his temper would be so bad? We had a bit of a conflict and I accidentally stabbed him. In a fit of anger, he said that he wanted to leave. I don't know where he went. What? Meng Yingying's eyes became moist and tears couldn't help but flow out. He tried his best to help me, but we still treated him like this. His heart must be broken. How could sister be like this? You didn't investigate clearly and wrongly accused a good person. I did it for you. Wasn't it just a moment of anger? Meng Qingwu felt her chest tighten, and she couldn't say a single word for a long time. She looked at the light bulb left in the room, at the pan and soup pot with the engraved source energy arrays, at the air conditioning array on the wall, and at the automatically heating teapot. Although she didn't know what use these things had, she had already realized that she had done a stupid thing, the stupidest thing she had ever done in her life. She had chased away a genius, a heaven-sent genius. Meng Yingying felt very uncomfortable, but she couldn't bear to blame her sister. From her sister's point of view, she didn't do anything wrong. She just cared too much about her and was confused, so she fell out with Chu Tian. Chu Tian did his best to help me, but in the end not only did he not receive any gratitude, he was even misunderstood. He must be very disappointed and sad. Meng Yingying felt a deep sense of guilt and self-blame. Chapter 16. What should she do? Meng Qingwu frowned and quickly thought of a solution. I can try to buy some time. Chu Tian should not have gone far. You should go and find him quickly. You must bring him back. That was the only way. The two sisters split up. Meng Qingwu held a sumptuous lunch to entertain the three big shots. Meng Yingying brought people to search the streets. Half a day had passed, but Chu Tian was nowhere to be found. Meng Yingying came back with disappointment. Chu Tian is very powerful. If he really wants to leave, we will not be able to find him. When Meng Qingwu heard this, her nose turned sour and she felt very wronged. Although she had misunderstood him, he still took his revenge on the spot. Not only did he fiercely humiliate her, he also spanked her several times. Her body had never been touched by another man before. Was he not satisfied? Can't a man be more open-minded? Don't be calculative with a woman like me. Her round buttocks were still burning and swollen. It was not hard to imagine how ruthless he was. He did not have any tender feelings for the fairer sex. Meng Yingying's mood was different from her sister. She was a little worried because her talent was mediocre and she was not smart. Apart from her beauty, there was nothing outstanding about her. Since she was a child, she had encountered people's eyes that were either obscene or disdainful. Wen Yifeng said that she was a useless vase. Although Meng Yingying was very angry, she had to admit it. Chu Tian was a surprise given to her by God. Although it was only 2 days, it was the most ups and downs, the happiest and most fulfilling days for Meng Yingying. For the first time, she felt that fate could be changed. After all, standing on the wind, even a pig could fly to the sky. For the first time, she felt a strong sense of security. This sense of security was something that even her sister could not give her. Chu Tian was frivolous, arrogant, overbearing, lecherous, and bad. But Meng Yingying had an intuition that Chu Tian was a good person who could be trusted. Although they had only known each other for 2 days, a strange feeling that she had never felt before had sprouted in her heart. Who knew that the pleasant surprise came too suddenly and left too suddenly, causing her to be caught unprepared. She didn't have the time to react, and only left an empty heart with boundless regret and loss. Will I never see him again? Meng Yingying couldn't believe that she was so sad. It was as if a big worm had drilled into her heart and was biting it fiercely, causing her tears to fall uncontrollably. Seeing her sister's sad expression, Meng Qingwu regretted and blamed herself even more. Because of a moment of impulse, she directly hurt 2 people, no 3 people. She was also a victim. Young miss, something big has happened. Steward Zhao hurriedly ran over, almost rolling and crawling. Meng Qingwu was already in a very passive position. What new trouble had happened? Steward Zhao was sweating profusely as he said, "Something happened to the pharmacy. A group of customers have been poisoned, and now a large group of people have come here to demand an explanation from Nanyan Commerce." Meng Qingwu felt as if she was struck by lightning. How is this possible? Nanyan Commerce had invested a large amount of money into the pharmaceutical market and made sufficient preparations. Since opening the pharmacy, everything had been smooth sailing without any setbacks. However, Because everything had been too smooth, Meng Qinggu suspected that there was a trap. She even told her worries to Meng Yingying. Her premonition of danger had come true. Meng Yingying worriedly looked at her sister. What should we do? There was already a burst of noise outside. Unscrupulous merchants are harming people. Unscrupulous merchants are harming people. Meng Qinggu, don't be a coward, quickly come out. The three important people were still at home, and there was a crowd outside. Meng Qinggu felt that she was stretched thin. She could only say to Meng Yingying, "This matter is definitely caused by our enemies. Go to the hall and find Master Zhang and the others. If you are with them, your safety will be guaranteed." Meng Yingying anxiously asked, "What about sister?" "I will settle it, don't worry about me." Meng Qinggu shouted. "Captain Meng, bring a few people, we will go out and take a look." Meng Qinggu did not appear for the time being. She first observed the situation inside the door. There was an angry crowd outside, and almost all of them were armed. There were soldiers, mercenaries, adventurers, and independent cultivators. Because the pharmacy was targeted at cultivators, once something happened to the pharmacy, it would immediately offend the most powerful people. At this time, she suddenly came to a realization. No wonder the pharmacy had such a smooth start. Her enemies did not intend to attack her business, but instead thought of using a borrowed knife to kill people. "Profiteer, come out. My brother is still unconscious, give me justice." Captain Meng walked out first, pulled out the long blade at his waist, and blocked the stones and debris that were thrown at him. He shouted in a deep voice, "Shut up. Big Miss will explain clearly. What is the use of arguing? Can you solve the problem?" Captain Meng was a famous warrior. Body refinement 7th rank, and his battle strength was unexpectedly. When this person opened his mouth to speak, everyone was immediately afraid. "Meng Shan, you are so powerful." Captain Meng looked over, and his expression became strange. A trace of deep hatred flashed in his eyes, because this person was not someone else, but Han Xiaolong, Meng Yingying's second senior apprentice, Zhang Liqing's second disciple, and the young master of Blackwater commerce. Others were afraid of Captain Meng, but Han Xiaolong did not seem to be afraid at all. Lang Sheng shouted. Southern Cloud Pharmacy sold Blackheart medicine, which led to the exposure of the matter, and the Han family also had a few victims. Now that the matter has been exposed, we are here to seek justice. But Meng Qinggu did not even show her face, and sent a few thugs to suppress the scene. "Is there still justice? Is there still justice?" These words immediately incited the anger of the crowd. The scene was about to go out of control again. Southern Cloud Commerce's medicine. There can't be a problem. A magnetic voice came, sexy and steady. Meng Qinggu slowly walked out, her clothes whiter than snow, her black hair like a waterfall, her temperament noble, like a fairy descending to the world. At this moment, she was calm on the surface, but her heart was in a mess. This matter was too big, and the most frightening thing was that she did not notice it at all. The source of the material was reliable. The alchemists were all hired from outside the city with high salaries. Meng Qinggu could be said to be very cautious, even watertight. Therefore, it was impossible for an outsider to poison the medicine, so there was only one possibility. This person was someone close to her. Southern Cloud Commerce had a very deep undercover. It was precisely because of this that Meng Qinggu felt cold all over her body, although she did not know who betrayed her. This person must be her trusted aide. Shameless Blackheart profiteer. This matter is already in front of you, and you still dare to deny it. Everyone quickly carry the injured up. Let this Blackheart profiteer see what kind of heartless things she has done. Hundreds of stretchers were carried out from the crowd. Every person who was carried out was in a weak state. Their faces were unnaturally ashy, their whole body was trembling, and they were constantly sweating. This was definitely the result of some kind of poison. Han Xiaolong crossed his arms in front of his chest, righteously said, "This is only a small portion of the victims. These 2 days almost everyone who took Southern Cloud Commerce's medicine all showed symptoms of poisoning. This fact is in front of us. What is there to deny? Everyone, don't you think we should get justice?" "That's right. We want justice." This was a conspiracy that had been planned for a long time, and had been carefully planned. Everyone, please calm down. Meng Qingwu knew that if she denied it now, it would be useless. Instead, it would incite more anger in the crowd. She could only suppress her anger and grievance and say, "There is something fishy about this matter. Please believe me, believe in Nanyang commerce. We will definitely investigate the truth and compensate the victims." Compensate? Can you afford to compensate? After we were poisoned, our cultivations have seriously regressed. We can't even find out what poison we were poisoned with. If your Southern Cloud Commerce investigated, who knows how many people would have died? What compensation is there to talk about? This matter was clearly more serious than they imagined. Because the poison was not detected, this meant that the poison was carefully prepared, making Southern Cloud Commerce unable to find out what poison it was. If they didn't even know what poison it was, how could they track down the poisoner? Moreover, if they didn't even know what poison it was, how could they detoxify these people? The whole matter would continue to ferment until it was out of control. My brother bought a bottle of healing medicine. When he was out on a mission, the poison acted up, and now he has been killed by demon beasts. A large man with a full beard rushed out from the crowd. Holding a steel axe, he angrily roared, "You Blackheart profiteer! Return my brother's life!" Captain Meng roared. Scram! The long blade blocked the steel axe. Magic energy directly knocked the opponent over and kicked him back into the crowd. Captain Meng wielded his blade and stood guard at Meng Qingwu's side. "If anyone dares to harm Big Miss, don't blame me for being impolite." Han Xiaolong caught the full-bearded man, immediately taking the opportunity to shout. The profiteer did not give us an explanation. Instead, she attacked and injured people. Fight it out with her. Chop the profiteer to death. Down with the Blackheart commerce. Meng Qingwu blankly stared at the angry crowd, her face quickly becoming pale. It's over, it's all over, after this matter. No matter what the final outcome is, Southern Cloud Commerce's reputation will be completely ruined. One wrong step, and everything will be lost. She had painstakingly managed for so many years, as if treading on thin ice, careful and cautious. But in the end she still fell for a dirty trick, and the commerce fell apart in one night. Meng Qingwu suddenly felt a deep sense of exhaustion. She was really tired. "Please be quiet for a moment," Meng Qingwu shouted, her eyes filled with tears. Taking 2 steps forward, standing in front of the crowd, her heart filled with mixed feelings, she used a firm and powerful voice to say, "I still have the same words. Southern Cloud Commerce will compensate for all losses. Please believe me. Even if I have to go bankrupt, I will still compensate." "Housekeeper Zhao." The old housekeeper staggered in front of the mistress. Meng Qingwu ordered, "First take out the commerce's cash, as the first batch of compensation. Also take out all of the commerce's untouched properties. Mortgage them all, no matter the cost. First compensate for the victims' losses." "Big Miss, you want to dissolve the commerce?" Housekeeper Zhao's old tears flowed down. "Why do you have to do this? It's not our fault." "Conspiracy. It's all a conspiracy." Meng Qingwu bitterly laughed. It was a conspiracy, but was it useful? This time the other party had carefully prepared. They must be confident that she would not be able to find out, and the poisoner is very likely to be an internal spy. Even if this kind of thing is really found out, Southern Cloud Commerce will have to bear a lot of responsibility for not using people properly. Moreover, after such a terrible incident, even if Southern Cloud Commerce is lucky enough to survive, a commerce that has completely lost its credibility, will there still be any possibility of development? Housekeeper Zhao's whole body trembled. When Master and Madam first came out to roam the world, this old servant followed by their side, working hard for decades. I watched Southern Cloud Commerce grow up with my own eyes. 6 years ago, Master and Madam were killed. This old servant should have been buried with them. But I was worried about the commerce. After all, this is their blood and sweat. Now that the commerce is gone, why should I continue to live? I will fight with these despicable people. Old Zhao, no. Housekeeper Zhao rushed towards Han Xiaolong. Meng Qingwu wanted to stop him, but it was too late. An arrow was shot from the crowd, directly piercing through the old man's chest. Old Zhao. Meng Qingwu did not care about Captain Meng's obstruction. threw herself on the old man's body. Her 2 hands quickly dyed red with blood. She looked at the surrounding crowd, her face already full of tears. I am already willing to give up everything. You guys have won. You guys have already won. Why do you still have to do this? Why? Han Xiaolong laughed loudly. Meng Qinggu, are you really stupid or are you just pretending to be stupid? You think that just compensating for the loss is enough? Brother Wang, please tell her. A man wearing a high-ranking officer's armor walked out, first holding up a token. I am the captain of Tiannan City's investigation team. Wang En. Wang En righteously said. This poisoning case has many victims. The impact is extremely bad. According to the kingdom's laws, the commerce management regulations, as the person in charge of the commerce, if Meng Qinggu cannot find out the truth, then she will have an unavoidable responsibility. She can only be treated as an accomplice, exiled to the border for life. All family members will be permanently removed, sent to military prostitutes, military slaves. So ruthless. Meng Qinggu will be tattooed and exiled. Meng Yingying will be reduced to a military prostitute. Does she really have to be ruthless? Motherfucker. At this time, a deep voice like a large bell came out from the room. It was filled with infinite rage. Who the fuck wants to send my master to be a military prostitute? Simply looking for death. Eat this father's fist first. A strong pressure suddenly came out. Everyone felt their chests being pressed down. They couldn't even move their bodies. Just a moment ago, the captain was still speaking righteously, and with a strong sense of righteousness. Suddenly, he was hit by a red fist shadow, and was blasted more than 10 meters away on the spot. All the muscles and bones in his body were shattered. He did not even have the chance to make a sound before he died on the spot. Han Xiaolong's face changed. How dare you? You dare to kill an officer in broad daylight. At this time, a familiar female voice came out. Surnamed Han, deceiving your master, sowing discord, your guts aren't small. Nangong Yen? 3 people slowly walked out. One was a hot beauty wearing high boots, a red dress, and a head full of red hair like a waterfall. Another was a nearly 2-meter-tall man in his 30s, looking like a bear. The last one was a plain white-haired old man. When Han Xiaolong saw Zhang Liqing, it was as if he had seen a ghost. His face suddenly changed. Teacher. Chapter 17. What kind of person was Zhang Liqing? He instantly understood the cause and effect. After Nanyun commerce suffered a setback 6 years ago, it was the support of the Ye family that allowed Blackwater commerce to grow rapidly. Blackwater commerce and Nanyun commerce's main products were talismans, and the struggle between them had never stopped. Blackwater commerce grew stronger and stronger, and had the support of the powerful Ye family. Nanyun commerce, on the other hand, had become a second-rate commerce after suffering a setback, and without any backing, the two were simply not on the same level. Meng Qingwu was not simple. She withstood the strong pressure, and firmly held on for 6 years. Nanyun commerce did not collapse, but instead steadily survived under the huge pressure. Meng Qingwu was a very ambitious person. She hoped to restore Nanyun commerce's former glory, but she was very clear that Nanyun commerce did not have any backing, and could not compete with Blackwater commerce. Therefore, she wanted to find another way, and spent a lot of money to prepare for the pharmaceutical market for half a year. She had prepared carefully for half a year, and in the end, such a big thing happened only 2 weeks after the opening. Was this possible? Impossible. She was definitely schemed against. Han Xiaolong deliberately misled him, and expelled Meng Yingying the day before yesterday. Wasn't it to completely separate himself from the Meng family? Zhang Liqing could basically confirm that the Han family was definitely involved in this conspiracy after connecting all these events together. Zhang Liqing did not pay attention to the competition between the commerce, but this time the situation was different. It was related to Meng Yingying, it was related to Chu Tian, and it was related to his own life. At the same time, the poisoning incident had a huge impact, and there were too many victims. There was nothing wrong with business competition, but injuring the innocent was unforgivable. No matter what, he had to do something. Han Xiaolong was bewildered. He was not sure of Zhang Liqing's position. "Why are you here?" Zhang Liqing looked at him coldly. "From today onwards, you and I will break off our relationship. The academic field does not need a person with wild ambitions, and I do not need a scheming student." Han Xiaolong's face changed. The famous talisman master Zhang Liqing expelled his second disciple from the sect in front of everyone. What the hell was going on? Zhang Liqing's tone became more and more severe. "Don't continue to fan the flames, or else don't blame me for being impolite." Han Xiaolong revealed an embarrassed look. He had calculated everything, but he did not expect Zhang Liqing to appear here. In addition, there were also Xiong Tianyan and Nangong Yin. Why were so many important people together with Meng Qinggu? He didn't know about this at all. "Elder Zhang, you're going to commit a heinous crime." An equally old voice came from the crowd. "It's not easy to accumulate your reputation for so many years. I advise you not to get involved in this mess, lest you lose your reputation and lose your integrity in your old age." Xiong Tianyan's big bare face froze, and he snorted, "Li Changyan? Since you're already here, don't act weird. Come out." A skinny old man walked out. His skin was tight, and his hair was sparse. He looked like he was in his 50s, but he was actually in his 70s. He wore a very exquisite and luxurious robe made of python skin, and he held a snake-headed staff made of purple gold in his hand. There were a few sparkling rings on his fingers, and his hair was combed back, making him look very noble and appropriate. In comparison, Zhang Liqing was an old and sloppy country bumpkin. Tiannan City's Alchemist Guild's president. Tiannan City's Talisman Master Guild's president. The two giants collided, and the development of events exceeded everyone's expectations. Zhang Liqing's eyes became dignified. Li Changyan's appearance here was not only to suppress him, but it also represented a deeper meaning. Li Changyan was the Ye family's consecrator, and also a senior guest elder. In a sense, Li Changyan was a member of the Ye family. His appearance here meant that the Ye family was also involved in this matter. Nanyan commerce was in danger. "Xiong Tianyan, you injured my disciple. This matter will be settled with you sooner or later." Li Changyan glared at Xiong Tianyan, and then continued to look at Zhang Liqing. "Elder Zhang, I advise you to cherish your reputation. This Nanyun commerce has committed such a heinous crime. Heaven and earth are angry, and the people want to punish them. As the representative of the alchemists, I naturally have to participate in this matter." Li Changyan coldly laughed twice, and then slowly continued. "You are quite accomplished in talisman making, but can you compare to me in alchemy? This time, even I can't find out what poison it is. If you continue to be stubborn, I'm afraid you will regret it." How could Zhang Liqing not understand the meaning behind these words? Li Changyan was the president of the Alchemist Guild. If Li Changyan couldn't determine the poison, then no one in Tiannan City could. If they couldn't even find out what poison the victim was poisoned with, then what was the point of talking about a cure? According to the law, if they couldn't find the culprit, then as the person in charge of the commerce, Meng Qinggu would definitely be the scapegoat. If Zhang Liqing insisted on speaking up for Meng Qinggu, then in the end, his reputation would be ruined. As expected, these people were well prepared. Even the poison they used was carefully prepared. Zhang Liqing was not afraid. "The Ye family's many years of offering to President Li has worn away your integrity. Your soul has been soaked in luxury and greed. As scholars, if we don't even have the strength of character, then how can we talk about searching for the truth? This matter, this old man will take care of it. If I don't find out the truth, I won't rest." Xiong Tianyan loudly shouted. "Well said. This old bear will also take care of it." Nangong Yin followed up. "This miss will make the culprit suffer a fate worse than death." These three people, who had only met by chance, did not hesitate to use their reputations as stakes to seek justice for her. What kind of honor was this? Meng Qingwu's heart was filled with emotions. However, she was very clear in her heart that the three of them were speaking up for her mainly because of Chu Tian. She thought of Chu Tian and fell into deep regret. If only this fellow hadn't left, then he would have been able to protect Ying better than this useless sister. Li Changyan fiercely hit the ground with his staff. "This old man will say this, There is no way to cure this poison. No one in Tiannan City can recognize it. If you don't come to your senses, then you can only be buried with him. Just wait and see. Zhang Liqing's heart sank. This old man Li was full of confidence. This time it would be really troublesome. Who said no one can cure it? This old man is just incompetent. But at this time, a frivolous voice rang out in the middle of the crowd. Out of the way, let me pass. Chu Tian, is that you? Meng Yingying's eyes widened. Her face was filled with disbelief. Chu Tian squeezed out of the crowd with great difficulty. With shifty eyes, he smiled at Meng Yingying. Of course it's me, otherwise who could it be? Meng Qinggu was stunned. This fellow, didn't he want to leave? Why did he come back? Meng Yingying's tears flowed out uncontrollably. She excitedly threw herself into his arms. How could you leave without saying a word? I thought I would never be able to find you again. Chu Tian patted the little girl's shoulder. Are you stupid? My contract is still in your hands. How could I leave? If you destroyed the contract, I would be dead. Meng Yingying suddenly remembered that Chu Tian was still a slave. Wasn't the contract still in her hands? She suddenly smiled through her tears. You also have times where you are afraid? But don't worry. I won't use the contract against you. Where did you go? I couldn't find you even if I tried. My leg was injured. Of course I had to go to the pharmacy to buy medicine to treat it, and also take a nap. Chu Tian looked left and right. But then again when I came back such a big thing happened, it really caught me off guard. Who is this ugly old man? With Chu Tian backing her up, the little girl's confidence instantly exploded. Meng Yingying was like a bullied child, indignantly complaining to her parents. He is Li Chongyun. Li Chongyun held back his anger. He was very confident in his reputation. There weren't many people in Tiannan City who didn't know him. After a mere junior found out about his reputation, wouldn't he be scared stiff on the spot? Who knew? Chu Tian shook his head. I just said not long ago, the president of the Alchemist Guild is not worthy of carrying my shoes. Today it seems like it was completely correct. Trash like you can't even compare to Xiong Tianyan. I think you should give up your position as the president. Li Chongyun was enraged. How dare you? Spouting nonsense. Just based on these words, this old man should kill you right now. President Li is already so old. Why do you need to get angry at a young man? Zhang Liqing knew Chu Tian's personality, and the old man in front of him was not weak. He had the heart-devouring poison in his body, so he might not be able to block it. So he was afraid that Chu Tian would anger Li Chongyun. Young sir, can you find out what poison these people have? Li Chongyun coldly laughed and said, You've lived for so many years, you actually believe the nonsense of a child? Chu Tian directly said to Li Chongyun, Old frog in a well. You don't know shit. Li Chongyun's face was ashen. What did you say? Chu Tian directly retorted. I said, you've lived for so many years, but you're so stubborn and inflexible, acting like a tyrant in a small place. Do you really think you're some big shot? You're not even a fart. What? Why are you staring at me like that? You're not convinced. Humph. Calling yourself the #1 alchemist in Tiannan. What a big tone. I'll say it here today. If I can find the poison, are you going to kneel down and kowtow to me? Or scram out of here with your tail between your legs? Li Chongyun clenched his fists until they made a caw-caw sound. You're the first person in Tiannan City who dares to speak to me like this. Fine. If I can really find the poison, this old man won't argue with you. Otherwise I'll make sure that your annoying mouth will never be able to open its mouth again. There's no need to check, it's the river Styx. Han Xiaolong's pupils suddenly shrank. Li Chongyun's eyes also flashed with a strange light. Xiong Tianyan suddenly understood, immediately full of admiration. After the river Styx is poisoned, it fuses with the body's vitality, corroding it and causing one's cultivation to regress. This kind of poison is colorless and odorless. Once it's in the water, it won't react with any other materials, so it's hard to detect. The poison doesn't stay in the blood, so it can't be detected, so it's hard to determine. Also, river Styx is very rare. Normal people wouldn't even think of it. You're spouting nonsense. Are you trying to fool this old man? Or are you trying to fool everyone? Li Chongyun coldly laughed. River Styx poisoning is impossible to detect. Since it's an undetectable poison, what basis do you have to talk about it? Han Xiaolong angrily said. He's from the Meng family. I suspect he's trying to exonerate the unscrupulous merchant. This kind of person should be hacked to pieces. Everyone revealed an angry expression. Idiot to the extreme. Chu Tian bluntly put on a big hat. River Styx damages cultivators by corroding their spirit energy, so it has no effect on normal people. You only need to investigate and see if normal people are poisoned. Then it's enough to determine. If you still don't believe me, then test the poison on a criminal and you'll know. If the final result is not River Styx, then I'll chop off my head for you to kick as a ball. Xiong Tianyan's fierce-looking face trembled. He excitedly said, River Styx is a complete poison. It's very rare and expensive. It's 10 times more expensive than most medicines on the market. There has never been a medicine that uses this stuff in refining. Even if Southern Cloud Commerce's executives are stupid, they still wouldn't put a large amount of River Styx into their medicine. So, it's not a problem with the materials, or a mistake in refining the medicine. Nangong Yin nodded. This is premeditated poisoning, 100% premeditated poisoning. Everyone was doubtful. Han Xiaolong saw the situation wasn't right. He immediately shouted, confusing the public. Let's not talk about whether or not it was really poisoning. Southern Cloud Commerce's supervision isn't strict, so they should take responsibility. That's right. That's right. Don't even think about clearing the black-hearted and scrupulous merchant's name. If we can't find the real culprit, then Meng Qinggu will have to take full responsibility for this matter. Don't be impatient. Don't be impatient. Actually, I've already found the culprit. Chu Tian pointed at the person next to Meng Qinggu. It's you, Captain Meng. Chapter 18. Meng Qinggu's whole body trembled. Although she guessed that the poisoning was done by her trusted subordinate, she never would have thought, or rather refused to believe, that this person would be the loyal guard captain that had followed her for 7 years. 7 years ago, Meng Shan brought his weak wife and child to escape from his enemies. It was Nanyun Commerce that took him in. Meng Shan's talent and strength were not dazzling, so he could only be an ordinary guard in Nanyun Commerce. Not long after, Nanyun Commerce underwent a drastic change. When the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. Almost all the talented people left. Only Meng Shan chose to stay and assist Meng Qinggu to overcome this crisis. This kind of person who had gone through thick and thin together, who had an honest and loyal personality, would really betray her. Meng Yingying also did not believe it. Captain Meng's loyalty to her sister was unquestionable. He had saved her sister several times in times of crisis. If he really wanted to harm the commerce, he would not have waited until today. Nonsense. Nonsense. Meng Shan's face was full of shock. His eyes revealed a trace of uncontrollable panic. Who in Nanyun Commerce doesn't know that I am loyal to Mississippi? How could I harm Miss? If you can't prove it, don't slander me. Chu Tian said. If the evidence could be destroyed, it would have been destroyed. But some evidence cannot be destroyed. For example, high-concentration Styx water is very volatile. When you use the high-concentration Styx water, you will inevitably inhale some poisonous gas. Captain Meng seemed to have thought of something. His body was already trembling. Chu Tian sighed softly. Because it is very mild, at most there will be a little discomfort, so I will not pay special attention. But what you can't imagine is that after the poison from Styx water settles, it will condense into small gray spots on the body. In addition, Styx water is a dark attribute material. Your fingers turning black is the evidence of contact with dark attribute materials. Am I right? Monster. This young man is a monster. How could he even know this kind of thing? Xiong Tianyan walked over. Let me see. Captain Meng was about to resist. Get lost. I didn't. Nangong Yin jumped up and kicked the long blade away. Xiong Tianyan took the opportunity to use his grappling technique and easily subdued Captain Meng's hands. He first checked his 10 fingers. 10 fingers are black. This is indeed a sign of contact with high-density dark attribute materials. Xiong Tianyan lifted Meng Shan's armor and saw that his chest and back were densely covered with needle-like gray spots. The evidence is irrefutable, and you still dare to quibble? Meng Shan's face was as pale as a sheet of paper. It's over, it's all over. Is it really you? Meng Qinggu trembled all over. I used to think that you were a man who valued friendship and righteousness. I used to think that you were a person who would not be bought by money. Tell me, why is that? That's right. Captain Meng's eyes were filled with hatred and regret. I was the one who poisoned him. Everyone was stunned. He thought that Captain Meng would continue to quibble. Who knew that he would confess so easily? Meng, you will die a horrible death. Meng Shan looked at the angry crowd. His eyes were filled with despair, but there was also a hint of relief. Originally he had a sliver of hope, but from the moment he was seen through, he was finished. Han Xiaolong revealed a panicked expression. He hurriedly said, Meng Shan, how much did this profiteer give you? Is it worth it for you to take the blame? Don't forget, you have a wife and child. If you die, what will happen to them? Meng Shan broke into a maniacal laughter. Ha 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 ha, wife and child. You actually have the face to say these words to me. Let me go. Let me go. Please let me go. Meng Qinggu nodded at Xiong Tianyan. After Meng Shan was released, his eyes revealed a hint of determination. Nanyun Commerce's kindness to Meng Shan is as heavy as a mountain. Even if I die, I will not betray Big Miss, but... Meng Shan used his trembling hands to take out a small cloth bag from his bosom. In it were a few bloody fingers. He shouted himself hoarse. 5 days ago, my wife and child were kidnapped. These bastards used my wife and child's lives to threaten me. At first I did not agree to help them, but they sent a finger to me every day to torture me. Damned bastards, you will all die a horrible death. Han Xiaolong's expression changed. Think carefully before you speak. Meng Shan pointed angrily at Han Xiaolong. His eyes were bloodshot. He shouted himself hoarse. Han Xiaolong, I am talking about you. If you have the ability, come at me. Why do you have to torture my wife and child? They are just ordinary people. They are just ordinary people. Shua. Countless gazes gathered on him. Han Xiaolong was so scared that he took a step back. Venomous slander. You are venomous slander. Meng Shan turned around and knelt on the ground. He kowtowed 3 times to Meng Qinggu. Big Miss, the poison was given to me by Han Xiaolong. I know my sins are grave. I have no words to live on in this world. I have no face to face you. To prove that I am not lying. To prove that Nanyun Commerce is innocent. And for the innocent people who have been harmed, I can only apologize with my death. Meng Shan raised his palm. No. Meng Qinggu hurriedly tried to stop him. But it was too late. Meng Shan hit his chest. His heart was shattered on the spot. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Meng Yingying cried out in fear. Captain Meng! Captain Meng! Meng Qinggu hurriedly went to help him up. We know you were forced. Why did you do this? Wife and child. Everything I have is over. Everything is over. Meng Shan's eyes were wide open. His gaze quickly became lax. He gasped for breath with difficulty. His face was full of hatred and regret. I know I am too selfish, but I really did not expect the consequences would be so serious. I really did not expect them to be so vicious. Meng Shan's consciousness became hazy. At the moment of his death he said, The whole thing is my fault. My wife and child are still alive. Please let them go. Big Miss, I am sorry. I am sorry. I am sorry. Meng Shan knew that no matter how much he said, he would not be able to make up for it. A tear flowed from the corner of his eye. With endless regret and pain he left this world. Zhang Liqing sighed. If you knew it would be like this, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. Housekeeper Zhao died. Captain Meng died. When she saw Meng Shan's face filled with regret and pain, Meng Qingwu's heart became extremely heavy. She muttered to herself, Rest in peace. If your wife and child are still alive, I will definitely help you take care of them. Han Xiaolong. You bastard. Countless angry gazes focused on him at the same time. Han Xiaolong pointed at Chu Tian. Can't you all see? The unscrupulous merchant is obviously using a lowly slave and a guard from his family to put up a ruse. Don't fall for it. The Han family is also a victim. A few of their family members were poisoned. How could this matter have anything to do with me? Nanyun Commerce is definitely trying to frame me, Zhang Liqing said angrily. Han Xiaolong, even now you still don't admit it. Do you really think everyone is an idiot? You can't say it like that. Li Changyin said in a strange tone. I personally feel that young Master Han's words are not without reason. Everyone think about it. Even I can't identify the poison. He is just a lowly slave in his teens. How could he have such knowledge and ability? Is it not worth suspecting? Even if he learned alchemy since he was in his mother's womb, it is impossible for him to have such an understanding of the river Styx. I think there is something fishy about this. I suggest that Nanyun Commerce be shut down first. Then, the involved Meng Qinggu be imprisoned. Investigate thoroughly before making a decision. Li Changyun's status was very high. Everyone hesitated again. Han Xiaolong let out a long sigh. Thank you, Grandmaster. Of course I am innocent. How could I be framed by them? Han Xiaolong had already discovered it. This unknown Chu Tian was the real threat. He must think of a way to get rid of this guy first. Han Xiaolong's mind turned quickly. He immediately pointed the spearhead at him. You lowly slave. Tell me the truth. How much did this group of profiteers give you? How dare you frame me? An old dog who spreads discord. An idiot with a mouthful of shit. Chu Tian maintained a calm and collected demeanor. It was as if everything was under his control. He did not lose his mind because of the other's words. Captain Ming used his death as a witness. But he said I framed him. Don't you think it's ridiculous? He dared to call Grandmaster Li Changyin an old dog in public? Sure enough, Li Changyin flew into a rage. He already had a faint killing intent. Young man, I have tolerated you time and time again. But you keep pushing your luck. You must know that there is a price for talking nonsense. Everyone heard it. A lowly servant like him dares to be so arrogant. He even insulted Grandmaster Li Changyin? He deserves to die 10,000 times. Han Xiaolong took the opportunity to stand out. A person like you deserves to die. Grandmaster Li Changyin is of noble character and unquestionable integrity. Maybe he won't argue with you. But you have tarnished my innocence and dignity. No matter what, I will not forgive you. Chu Tian seemed to have seen through the other's thoughts. What do you want? Han Xiaolong said vehemently. I want to fight you one-on-one. A fair duel to the death. I want to use your blood to wash away my injustice. Do you dare? Duel? You are at the 4th rank of body refinement. I am at the 3rd rank. You are already over 20 years old. I am only 17. You want to use force to suppress me? What a fair duel to the death. You don't dare? Then kneel down and apologize to me. Clear my name. No, you insist on fighting. How can I not accompany you? Han Xiaolong heard this and immediately showed a hint of joy. Trash like you, one move from me is enough. Chu Tian shrugged his shoulders. I will return those words to you. I will also only use one move. One move. Everyone was stunned. The difference in energy between the 3rd and 4th rank of body refinement was huge. A 4th rank body refinement martial artist defeating a 3rd rank body refinement martial artist in one move was a very normal thing. After all, the disparity in strength was obvious. But a 3rd rank body refinement martial artist defeating a 4th rank body refinement martial artist in one move? That was an almost impossible thing to do. Xiong Tianyan wanted to stop him. Nangongyun shook her head. Han Xiaolong is only a hedonistic son. Even if he is at the 4th rank of body refinement, he lacks actual combat ability. Although Chu Tian is boasting too much, I believe he will not lose. Let's see how you can continue being arrogant. Han Xiaolong's hands suddenly shot out, making a slight explosion in the air. I will first cripple your arms. Heavenly Eagle Claw, a very powerful martial art. Han Xiaolong had trained hard for many years and had already reached the point of perfection. His speed was fast and his attack was strong. Combined with the energy of the 4th rank of body refinement, one move was enough to cripple his opponent. Chu Tian closed his eyes and remained unmoved. He secretly gathered his energy. His right fist glowed with energy. The moment Han Xiaolong's sharp claws attacked him, his eyes opened. At this moment, it was as if he had changed into a different person. He was no longer lazy and frivolous. He was like a sword that was unsheathed, a sword that thirsted for slaughter. His heart skipped a beat. Han Xiaolong had a frightening intuition, like prey being targeted by a hunter. It made all the hairs on his body stand up. Even his blood froze. Impossible. A mere third rank of body refinement cultivator. How could he produce such a strong pressure? Han Xiaolong clenched his teeth. I don't believe you can stop me. Go die. Chu Tian was like a butterfly flying through flowers. He took a very graceful step forward, instantly dissolving Han Xiaolong's attack. Moreover, his entire chest was exposed in front of his fist. Collapsing fist. Under Chu Tian's heavy attack, a strong wave of air burst forth. Han Xiaolong was like a kite with a broken string. He broke a few bones on the spot, and fell heavily to the ground. Han Xiaolong struggled to get up. Bang! She stepped on his head with one foot. Pitifully weak, unable to withstand a single blow. Just who is the trash? Chu Tian's clothes were still flapping under the force of the yuan qi. His gaze was as cold as a knife's edge. He stared at Han Xiaolong, who was lying on the ground, and said condescendingly, "What else do you have to say?" Everyone was deeply shocked. The youth was frivolous and overbearing, shocking everyone. He really did it. With the strength of a third rank of body refinement, he defeated a fourth rank body refinement opponent in one move. He won calmly, without any suspense and with ease. It gave people the feeling that Chu Tian was a top expert who had hidden his true strength. And Han Xiaolong was just an idiot who did not know the difference between life and death. Li Changyin frowned a little. This kid really did not seem ordinary. Where did he come from? Could he be a core disciple of some superpower? Slave? Impossible. This kind of personality, this kind of talent, this kind of ability, how could he be a slave? A genius would not appear out of nowhere. Chu Tian was completely unknown in the past, which made him seem very mysterious and strange. This made Li Changyin a little uncertain about what to do. Everyone also had a whole new level of respect for Chu Tian. Calling him a slave? What a joke. A person who could easily challenge someone of a higher level. No matter which power he joined, he would definitely be heavily nurtured. How could he be the servant of a small southern cloud commerce? Chu Tian's fist completely defeated Han Xiaolong, and even destroyed the idea of a slave. Chapter 19. Who was Han Xiaolong? How could he endure such humiliation? I am the heir of Blackwater Commerce. A lowly slave dares to humiliate me in public. What are you looking at? Kill, kill, kill. Kill him for me. Having been stepped on by Chu Tian, Han Xiaolong flew into a rage out of humiliation. He lost all sense of reason and recklessly ordered his guards to kill Chu Tian on the spot to vent his anger. Nangong Yin threw out two fists. Scram. Two thick red fists shot out. The two Han family guards were sent flying back into the crowd. I have seen shameless people, but I have never seen such shameless people. He was the one who suggested the duel, but he said that Chu Tian wanted to humiliate him after he lost? Nangong Yun's beautiful red hair danced in the wind. Her bright eyes swept across the crowd. If anyone dares to interfere, I will cripple him. Miss Nangong, thank you. Chu Tian was still calm. He grabbed Han Xiaolong and lifted him up. Let's play a little game. This game is called I Ask You Answer. Han Xiaolong trembled in fear. I don't want to play. If you answer correctly, you will be fine. If you answer incorrectly, I will cripple one of your limbs. When all four limbs are crippled, I will break your neck. Do you understand me? Han Xiaolong howled. Grandmaster, save me. Chu Tian chuckled. Wrong answer. Kacha. The sound of bones breaking rang out. Han Xiaolong's blood-curdling screams reverberated. Chu Tian's ruthlessness and decisiveness sent chills down everyone's spine. Li Changyin stood up angrily. This person is cruel and evil. I cannot watch this anymore. President Li, please conduct yourself with dignity. Zhang Liqing locked onto him with a powerful aura, and at the same time said in a leisurely tone. Han Xiaolong suggested a duel to the death. Everyone present heard it. With your status, it's not appropriate for you to interfere. Li Changyun's face darkened. There was Zhang Liqing, Xiong Tianyan and Nangong Yun here. Moreover, Han Xiaolong did screw him over. If he forcefully interfered, he might not be able to gain anything. Chu Tian said, Let's continue. Stop. I don't want to play anymore. Han Xiaolong cried and shouted. I admit it, I did it. Please let me go. As long as you spare my life, no matter how much it is, I will pay. He regretted it. He was scared. He was the successor of Blackwater Commerce. He could inherit the family fortune of millions at any time. He didn't want to die. He didn't want to die like this. Originally, he thought that he could easily defeat Southern Cloud Commerce. He never expected that Zhang Liqing, Xiong Tianyan, and Nangong Yin would stand on the side of Southern Cloud Commerce. Even more unexpected was the appearance of the devil-like Chu Tian. Hopeless, Li Changyan's face turned pale as he coldly harumphed and left. Fuck. Did he go soft so quickly? Not interesting at all. Chu Tian threw Han Xiaolong on the ground and kicked him hard. Where is Captain Meng's wife and children locked up? Speak. In my family's dungeon, alive, still alive. I was wrong, don't kill me. Fuck. Nangong Yin cursed. She stretched out her snow-white legs and rushed in front of Chu Tian. He still dares to set up a private dungeon. Let me kill this bastard with one palm. Han Xiaolong hurriedly begged for mercy. Eldest senior sister, on account of being from the same sect, please spare me this time. Being from the same sect. You still dare to talk about being from the same sect. Nangong Yun's beautiful eyes widened. When you were planning to destroy Meng Yingying's family, did you ever think about being from the same sect? Scum like you, this old lady, have always killed whoever I see. Watch my palm. Wait, whether to kill or not, it's not up to us. Chu Tian, what do you mean? Get out of my way. Chu Tian explained. Since he is the main culprit, then let the victim deal with him. Good. Nangong Yun's eyes lit up. Haha, I like it. Han Xiaolong was scared out of his wits. No, I have a lot of women. I have a lot of money. Chu Tian, as long as you let me go this time, I'll give it all to you. I'll give it all to you. Nangong Yun grabbed Han Xiaolong and threw him into the crowd. Not only is this guy the mastermind behind all this, he even used you idiots as a tool. Do as you see fit. Kill him. Bastard, you dare lie to us. Quickly return my brother's life. Countless people rushed forward, instantly drowning Han Xiaolong. Han Xiaolong's pitiful screams stopped. About 10 minutes later, the crowd gradually dispersed. The ground was covered with minced meat. Han Xiaolong could no longer be seen with the naked eye. Who would have thought that it would end like this? Meng Qingwu's body trembled slightly. Her eyes were moist. For so many years she had been suppressed by Blackwater Commerce. Today she finally got her revenge. But there was no joy of revenge in her heart. Only deep exhaustion and sorrow. 6 years ago it was like this. Today it was still like this. For a little profit, must so many people's lives be sacrificed? Meng Qingwu was really tired. She was even thinking that after this matter was over, she would dissolve the company and live a peaceful life. Chu Tian. It was this mysterious youngster who saved her family. Chu Tian felt Meng Qingwu's gaze, turned back and smiled at her, mouthing, "No need to thank me." Seeing his frivolous look, Meng Qingwu felt a burst of grievance in her heart. Forget it. Seeing that you have helped me this time, I will not pursue this matter. But if there is a next time, I will fight to the death with you. This matter happened in Southern Cloud Pharmacy. I cannot shirk my responsibility, so I am willing to compensate the victims for some of their losses, and find a cure for everyone. Meng Qingwu took the initiative to stand out. However, this time it was obviously a conspiracy planned by the Han family and Blackwater Commerce. We cannot let the real culprit go. Southern Cloud Commerce is willing to mobilize all the guards to help everyone take revenge and seek justice. Hearing this, everyone was moved to tears. President Meng Qingwu, we have misunderstood you. That's right, we cannot let the real culprit go. Brothers, get your weapons. Flatten Blackwater Commerce. With the help of the entire Southern Cloud Commerce, along with thousands of friends and family of the victims, no matter how strong Blackwater Commerce is, they will not be able to escape unscathed. Meng Qingwu stood in the middle of the boiling crowd. Her tall figure and beautiful face made her look like a goddess worshipped by the people. Her eyes were filled with unswerving determination. Let's go. The crowd was like a raging torrent. under the leadership of Meng Qinggu, madly rushing towards Blackwater commerce. In this cruel world, kindness to the enemy is cruelty to oneself. If they are not eliminated, there will be another tragedy like Housekeeper Zhao and Captain Meng, and there will be more victims. Counterattack, begin. Either you die or I die. When the crowd arrived at the scene, Blackwater Commerce's hundreds of elite guards guarded the main area. The doors were all closed, and not a single one of the higher-ups came out. Han Song pay with his life. Han Song pay with his life. Han Song, old dog, get out here. The crowd surrounded Blackwater Commerce tightly, throwing all kinds of fire arrows and torches. Igniting the house in a short while, the flames quickly spread. Xiong Tianyan slashed open the back door with one palm. A few people broke into the Han family's dungeon. One of the cells had an ordinary middle-aged woman, an 8 or 9-year-old boy, and a 5 or 6-year-old girl. Meng Yingying recognized with a glance. She is Captain Meng's wife, Auntie Lin. The three of them had been beaten up, and were covered with cuts and bruises. The most shocking thing was that each of them were missing 2 or 3 fingers. They were cut off while they were still alive. The middle-aged woman's wound was infected, and she was in a coma. The boy was in a trance and talking to himself. He did not even react when someone came in. He probably had a mental breakdown and went crazy. On the contrary, the youngest girl was also very weak. Seeing someone come in, she immediately cried out in fear. Tian Tian, I'm Sister Yingying, don't be afraid. The girl was too frightened. She was still crying nonstop. Meng Yingying's heart ached as she hugged the girl. The girl's body was covered in scars. 2 of her fingers were gone. Her originally tender skin was covered in maggots. It was almost a bloody mess. Meng Yingying could not help crying. Too cruel. The Han family deserved to die 10,000 times. Why did they have to torture a 5-year-old girl? These goddamn bastards. If I don't raze this place to the ground, I won't be surnamed Nangong. Nangong Yin and Xiong Tianyan were filled with righteous indignation. The 2 of them had fiery temperaments and were straightforward people. They could not hide their anger at all. They wanted to kill everyone in Blackwater Commerce to vent the anger in their hearts. Chu Tian was also angry, but now was not the time to vent. He lightly tapped the boy and girl's bodies, making them fall asleep. They can't hold on much longer. Saving them is more important, let's go. It was a mess outside. The Han family's strength was much stronger than the Meng family. Many of their guards were retired Ye family mercenaries. Whether it was quality or quantity, they could easily suppress the Meng family's guards. If not for the help of a large group of angry victims, the Meng family rushing to the Han family would definitely be seeking their own death. At this moment, both sides were in a stalemate. The number of casualties was rapidly increasing. Nangong Yin let out a long roar. Her entire body was covered in red light as she jumped out from the dungeon. Like a rocket, she soared into the sky, and like a meteor, she directly fell towards the Han family house. Bang! A heaven-shaking sound echoed. The terrifying power smashed a large hole in the house. Nangong Yun's power was too berserk. The raging flames quickly spread out, accompanied by a violent shockwave, causing the Han family guards to cover their heads and flee in fear. Nangong Yun stood on the high roof, wearing red high-heeled boots, red light muslin clothes, beautiful red hair, snow-white long legs, beautiful face and surging spirit energy. It made her look like an angry flame goddess. People of Blackwater Commerce, listen up. In 10 seconds, put down your weapons and surrender. Otherwise I swear on Nangong Yun's identity that you will have no place in this city. The mayor's daughter. The people of Blackwater Commerce were all shocked. She is only the mayor's daughter. She doesn't have any position. What qualifications does she have to represent the mayor? One of the middle-aged men holding a large sword changed his expression. He immediately shouted, "Defend the family. Fight to the end. Our Han family is innocent. The mayor does not have the qualifications to destroy Blackwater Commerce. These people are provoking us. They will be severely punished." The middle-aged man was Han Hao, the vice president of Blackwater Commerce. His prestige was very high. The Han family guards immediately became excited. That's right. Blackwater Commerce's backing was strong. Every year they contributed a large amount of tax to South Sky City. Even the mayor had to give them some face. As long as they could hold on until the army arrived, they would definitely be able to save them. At this time, 400 to 500 soldiers wearing public security armor appeared. Like a tide, they quickly rushed into the scene. An officer loudly shouted, "I am South Sky City's public security general. You dare to have a large-scale fight in South Sky City. You simply have no respect for the law. All of you put down your weapons." Han Hao revealed a trace of joy. "General Zhao, save my Blackwater commerce." This officer was actually a trusted aide of the Ye family. He was also the Han family's backer. As long as this person represented the government, this crisis could be resolved. General Zhao pretended not to know the situation. "What is going on here?" Han Hao tearfully scolded. "Meng Qinggu, that snake woman. She directed her own act, cruelly killed my nephew, and even incited the masses to cause trouble for my Blackwater commerce. My Blackwater commerce has been established for 6 to 7 years. We have always been law-abiding. When have we done anything wrong to South Sky City? Today my nephew died a tragic death. Meng Qinggu incited the masses to openly attack my Han family's headquarters, causing Blackwater commerce to suffer heavy losses. Where is the justice? Where is the justice? Such vile savagery. If we don't punish them severely, wouldn't it chill the hearts of South Sky City's citizens?" When everyone heard this, they became angry. Han Hao still had the face to say this? What did he mean by chill the hearts of South Sky City's citizens? If Blackwater commerce did not perish today, then it would truly chill the hearts of South Sky City's citizens. Chapter 20. Han Hao's tearful face really did look like he was going to cry. General Zhao pretended to be angry as he pulled out his sword and roared with righteous indignation. "Capture all the criminals, especially the culprit Meng Qinggu. Who dares arrest her? Kill without mercy." Nangong Yun's face turned cold. "Enough," General Zhao righteously said. "Miss, please respect yourself. I am loyal to my duty and abide by the laws of the kingdom. Even if I have to give up my life, I will not hesitate. Even if the mayor comes, I will have a clear conscience. Don't help the wicked anymore. Tiannan City belongs to the citizens, not the Nangong family's private territory. If this matter were to spread to the main city, even the mayor would not be able to bear the responsibility. Nanyang commerce cannot be forgiven and must be punished." This General Zhao was an actor. That look, that expression, that awe-inspiring righteous attitude. If someone who was not in the know saw this scene, they would probably praise General Zhao's unyielding character. Nangong Yun almost exploded with anger. General Zhao is wise and decisive. It is a blessing for Tiannan City. Han Hao revealed a trace of mockery. "Scoundrel, you are not going to surrender. Do you want to rebel?" General Zhao waved his hand. "Prepare for battle." Hundreds of soldiers pulled out their weapons and assumed a battle formation. Han Hao also raised his weapon. "Sons of the Han family, take up your weapons and defend the family's honor. Let us help General Zhao." They were surrounded from the front and back. Aggrieved, hateful. Everyone was so angry they almost spat blood. Their faces were full of anger and unwillingness. The Han family's guards were already very strong, and now there was a law enforcement force. If this continued, they would not be able to gain anything. The Han family's backing was too strong. Were they just going to let it go like this? At this time, a powerful sound wave, like it could topple the mountains and overturn the seas, suddenly descended. The aura was like a terrifying wild beast, causing everyone's heart to tremble. "You are not putting me, the general of Tiannan City, in your eyes." Xiong Tianyan laughed. Big Brother came at the right time. An elite cavalry unit surged into the scene like a silver torrent. Every single one of them was filled with an iron-blooded aura. This was an army of tigers and wolves that had been honed on the battlefield. A burly and majestic giant walked out from the crowd. This person was wearing an awe-inspiring general's armor, and his whole body was filled with a cold aura. He was about 40 years old, and from his face, he looked somewhat similar to Xiong Tianyan. Tiannan City's first general, Xiong General Zhao, who was awe-inspiring and righteous a moment ago, was now sweating profusely out of fear, and his legs were trembling uncontrollably. He didn't expect that he would provoke such a character. Han Hao revealed a fearful look and said, "General Xiongbing, you." Xiongbing suddenly opened his eyes in anger, and a greenish-white essence force gushed out. A bone-chilling cold current gushed out, covering everything within a few hundred meters in a layer of frost. Ho! An incomparably cruel roar came from behind Xiongbing, and the greenish-white essence force condensed, transforming into an incomparably huge bear. A savage aura that seemed to come from ancient times instantly spread out in all directions, causing the faces of the hundreds of security soldiers to turn pale and trembling to the point where they couldn't even hold their weapons steadily. Summoning Source Spirit. An awakened soul cultivator. Nangong Yin and Xiong Tianyan could summon the power of their source spirits, but they couldn't summon the entire source spirit. But Xiongbing could directly summon the Blizzard Bear source spirit, so it could be seen that Xiongbing was a genuine awakened soul cultivator. Han Hao revealed an aghast expression. "What do you want to do?" "What do I want to do? Of course I want to kill you." The Blizzard Bear source spirit blossomed with light, releasing the vigorous power of Blizzard. With extreme speed, Xiongbing punched out, and Han Hao was first turned into an ice statue by the surging power of ice, and then hit by the whistling fist wind. The entire ice statue shattered into pieces. In Tiannan City, an awakened soul cultivator was simply an existence at the top of the pyramid. Ordinary people might not even meet one in their lifetime, not to mention seeing an awakened soul cultivator in action. Xiong Tianyan's source spirit was the lava bear. Xiongbing's source spirit was the blizzard bear. The attributes of the two brothers' source spirits were completely different, but they were both dual-attributed source spirits. Moreover, Xiongbing's cultivation was much higher than Xiong Tianyan's. Xiong Tianyan could currently only awaken a small portion of his source spirit's power, but Xiongbing could completely release the power of his source spirit to strengthen himself, so their battle strength was not on the same level. "You should also die. General, spare me." Before General Zhao could even kneel down and beg for mercy, Xiongbing also threw a punch at him. Without any suspense, he was first frozen into an ice sculpture by Xiongbing's ice ability, and then torn apart on the spot by the violent fist wind. One was the Blackwater Commerce's vice president. The other was Tiannan City's General Zhao. These two important people, Xiongbing did not even give them a reason. He killed them on the spot. He had strength. Why did he need a reason to kill? Xiong Tianyan laughed. Delightful. Delightful. These bastards deserved it. But to die under Big Brother's blizzard fist, it was really too easy for them. Xiongbing slowly withdrew his terrifying source spirit and fiercely stared at Xiong Tianyan. "You're already 30 years old. Every time you cause trouble, don't make me wipe your ass." Xiongbing did not have any way to deal with his little brother. His eyes swept over Meng Qingwu and the others, impatiently waving his hand. "This general was ordered to investigate. Now that I understand the situation, tell me the whole story again." Xiongbing was Tiannan City's first general. He had a high position and power. His status was noble, almost second only to the mayor. How could Meng Qingwu dare to be negligent? She immediately described everything in detail. Xiongbing revealed an angry expression. "Good Blackwater Commerce. Do you really think no one will dare to make a move just because you have some power behind you? This general will give them a taste of my power today. All soldiers seal off the scene. Arrest everyone in the Han family. Confiscate the Han family's property. If you meet anyone who resists, kill them." Yes, the entire army began to move. It's over, it's all over. Blackwater Commerce was completely finished. The Han family all surrendered. They were all shackled. All of their property was taken out, and the entire family was completely confiscated. Not long after, an officer ran in front of Xiongbing, reporting to the general, "We've done a head count. We haven't found Han Song, but we've found a secret passage. Many of the Han family's valuables have been taken away." Xiongbing said with a cold expression, "That bastard ran away? Immediately pass down the order, make a wanted poster, and put him on the wanted list of the entire city." On the other side, Meng Qingwu was busy treating the victims. The river Styx was very troublesome, but there was a solution in this era. So Chu Tian was too lazy to open his mouth. Because exposing too much knowledge wasn't a good thing. What if he was used as a lab rat by others? After the injured were treated, Meng Qinggu found Chu Tian. Come out, I have something to tell you. This girl wouldn't be so vengeful, right? Could it be that she was still thinking about the spanking? Meng Qinggu saw Chu Tian's evasive and wary eyes, and her pretty face flushed red. She stomped her feet in anger. What are you thinking? We're even now. You're not allowed to mention it in the future if a third person knows. She made a chopping motion with her hand. Chu Tian blinked and said straightforwardly, I understand. I definitely won't tell anyone about the spanking. Why are you shouting so loudly? Meng Qinggu was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She didn't know why, but as long as she was facing Chu Tian, she would become especially irritable. She took a few deep breaths to calm herself down, but the exaggerated rise and fall of her chest made Chu Tian stare blankly. Seeing this, she gritted her teeth again. She wanted to thank him properly, but in the end, she squeezed out 2 words, thank you. Chu Tian didn't care at all, and waved his hand in a carefree manner. We're family, there's no need to say thank you. You're treating me like an outsider. But you have to be obedient in the future. If something like this happens again, it won't be as simple as a spanking. The 2 willowy eyebrows of the young miss were about to reach the sky. This was another sign before she went berserk. Sigh, this girl is beautiful enough, but her temper is too irritable. It's better to cherish life and stay away from the young miss. Chu Tian hurriedly ran away. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first. Wait. Meng Qinggu stopped him again, gritted her teeth, and reminded him. You haven't caught Han's song, so be careful when you go out in the future. If this guy comes for revenge, the first thing he'll do will be you. Chu Tian was a bit flattered. The young miss specifically came back to warn me? This attitude of taking the initiative to express goodwill to me. Does it mean that she cares and values me more? This kind of thing really had to be guarded against, because the past 2 days had been too eye-catching, and it was easy to attract trouble. But Han Song was nothing to worry about. He was just afraid that old man Li Changyan would come looking for trouble. Chu Tian returned to the house, beckoned with his finger and said, Old man Zhang over there, come over here for a moment. Zhang Liqing was drinking tea with Xiong Tianyan in the room, and immediately walked in front of Chu Tian. Meng Qinggu entered the room, and when she saw this scene, she was so angry that she almost vomited blood, and wanted nothing more than to hack Chu Tian. Zhang Liqing didn't have a high position like Xiong Bing, but his influence was very strong, and he actually came at a young man's beck and call. Where was the dignity of a master? Where was the virtue of young people respecting the old and loving the young? Chu Tian sat down without any awareness, and looked at the cautious old man next to him. He first picked up his tea and took a sip, and then said, Luckily I had you to hold the fort today, or else that old man Li would have already killed me. Zhang Liqing hurriedly waved his hand. It's my duty. It's my duty. I haven't messed around like this in many years, and after making a scene today, I feel like I'm 30 years younger. Your character isn't bad. It seems like I misunderstood you before. Chu Tian wrote a list of ingredients and handed it to the old man. How about this? You go and collect the ingredients on the list. The heart-corroding poison antidote that you want is made from these ingredients. You can indeed be 30 years younger, as long as the poison is cured. Zhang Liqing was overjoyed. The heart-corroding poison had tortured him for 15 years. He had flipped through ancient books and searched for alchemy masters, but couldn't find a way to cure it. But Chu Tian gave him hope, so how could Zhang Liqing not be happy? Zhang Liqing bowed deeply. The grace of rebirth, I will never be able to repay. Hey, you're already so old, why are you saying this? Chu Tian glanced at Xiong Tianyan and said, Xiong Tianyan, don't you want to worship Meng Yingying as your master? Right now you have a chance. Go and refine this antidote. As long as you can do it, I will agree. Xiong Tianyan revealed a look of ecstasy, and immediately took the list of ingredients. Purple pattern fruit, carrion grass, 9 nether worms, black blood oak sap. Strange, these are all poisons. Chu Tian replied, The heart-corroding poison is hard to cure with normal methods. The best way is to fight poison with poison. I will give you the alchemy array blueprint. This kind of antidote is difficult to refine. You can ask Old Man Zhang, or find someone else to help. As for whether or not you can complete it, that will depend on your talent. Xiong Tianyan looked at the alchemy array blueprint, and his eyes almost popped out. His thick and dark face instantly turned purplish red. What kind of alchemy array was this? He couldn't understand it at all. But Xiong Tianyan swore that this was the most perfect alchemy array he had ever seen in his life. There were many runes and diagrams on it that were almost unheard of, and the structure was also unimaginable. Looking at it as a whole, it was like a piece of art. He felt every cell in his body screaming. He couldn't wait to draw it out. If he could thoroughly study this alchemy array, then Xiong Tianyan would obtain an unimaginable harvest. The two said their goodbyes and left in a hurry. What Chu Tian gave to Xiong Tianyan was obviously not the 5 elements 80,000 alchemy array. That thing in this era was comparable to the knowledge of the gods, so of course it couldn't see the light of day. Otherwise the consequences would be unthinkable. The current Chu Tian could at most be called a super genius, but geniuses were everywhere these days, so it wasn't that strange. But if the 5 elements 80,000 alchemy array was exposed, then it wouldn't be as simple as being a monstrous genius. Chu Tian would definitely be captured by the top powers of the continent to be dissected and studied like a lab rat. The heart-corroding poison antidote was a level 2 antidote pill. This antidote pill was special and unorthodox, so it couldn't be refined with a common alchemy array. It had its own unique refining method, but Chu Tian's spirit energy was far from enough, so he couldn't refine it. Xiong Tianyan hadn't reached the awakened soul realm, so the difficulty of refining a level 2 pill was high, but he would just treat it as a test. If he couldn't even pass this test, then it meant that Xiong Tianyan's talent in alchemy was just average, so there was no need to learn Chu Tian's knowledge. Meng Qingwu's pair of bright eyes stirred up a strange expression. She really couldn't see through this guy. He was so young and had such profound knowledge. Why would he become a slave in a slave market? At this time, Meng Yingying brought Nangong Yun back home. Meng Yingying gloomily said, "Aunt Lin has been treated, her life is no longer in danger, so we sent them home to recuperate. Xiao Hu and Tian Tian seemed to have suffered a big blow, so I left them a few hundred gold coins on behalf of the family, so that they won't have to worry about food and clothing in the future. I hope they can walk out of the shadow sooner." When Meng Qingwu heard these words, her beautiful face was filled with melancholy that couldn't be dispersed. Although Captain Meng did something wrong, you can't take it out on your family. Find someone from the commerce to take care of them. Sister, what do you plan to do next? Meng Qingwu, in order to set up the medicine market, was ambitious and went all out. She spent more than half of the company's funds to buy equipment, formulas, and ingredients. She also hired pharmacists from outside the city with high salaries. However, after this setback, Southern Cloud Medicine Store would definitely not be able to continue operating. Now that a large amount of investment went down the drain, they also had to pay the alchemist's breach of contract and compensate the victims for their losses. Southern Cloud Commerce would inevitably fall into a crisis of debt. Meng Qingwu was disheartened and dejectedly said, "I plan to split up and sell off the business to pay off the debt. How much the commerce can have. If we can't continue, then we'll close it. We'll leave and find a peaceful place to live out the rest of our days in peace." Sister, you're only 22 years old. You have to pull yourself together. You can't just give up like this. Meng Yingying was very worried about her negative sister, and immediately winked at Chu Tian. It doesn't matter if Southern Cloud Commerce can't continue. Sister's ability is so strong. If you have the right opportunity, you will definitely reach even higher heights. Chu Tian, am I right? Chapter 21. Meng Yingying was hoping that Chu Tian would speak up for her and encourage her sister, making her excited again. In the end, that pair of sparkling eyes filled with hints was completely ignored by a certain person. Chu Tian rubbed his stomach and weakly said, "I haven't eaten for a day. My stomach is already flat from hunger." Come to my hut, I'll treat you to a meal. Meng Yingying puffed out her cheeks and stared at him, looking like she wanted to bite him. Why are you showing such a fierce expression? You haven't eaten for a day. What if you're starving? Chu Tian was very strong, completely ignoring the little girl's dissatisfaction. Eating is the most important thing right now. Obediently eat. Be obedient. Truly no comprehension. The second young miss was very dissatisfied, but there was nothing she could do. In the evening, the three girls arrived in front of Chu Tian's hut. Nangong Yin was stunned on the spot. The hut was old and broken. It didn't even have a window. It was dark, stuffy, and hot. Letting a person live in this kind of place was simply torture. Chu Tian lived in this kind of ghost place. A super genius received this kind of treatment. Nangong Yin felt injustice for Chu Tian. Chu Tian really had a good temper. If it was this old lady, she would have already destroyed the Meng family. When Meng Yingying entered the hut, she acted like the mistress of the house, picking up the teapot and pouring her spirit energy. Chu Tian will go get the ingredients. You guys drink a cup of tea first. A source energy array appeared under the teapot, and the tea inside the teapot began to heat up. In just a few seconds, it began to boil, and what was poured out was hot tea. Nangong Yun's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. This is a bit interesting. How can the teapot automatically heat up? Meng Yingying blinked her eyes. There is a heating array that Chu Tian left here. Nangong Yin excitedly slapped her thigh. Wonderful. Truly wonderful. This old lady has lived for so long, and I never knew that source energy arrays could be used to boil tea. Meng Qingwu's clear eyes also slightly flashed. It's hot and stuffy here. Should we go somewhere else? Nangong Yin was so hot that she was sweating profusely. Her sweat had soaked through her thin muslin clothes, and her milky white skin was faintly discernible. It made her look less wild and fiery than usual, but more seductive. At this moment, hoo-hoo-hoo, a comfortable breeze blew from both sides. Nangong Yin felt refreshed, but at the same time, she felt very strange. Wind? Where did the wind come from? What the hell? Meng Yingying giggled as she patted the wall. Isn't it magical? This is the source energy array left behind by Chu Tian. Although it doesn't have much use, it can move the air in the room, so it can create convection. Good stuff. It was definitely something good. I must have that brat Chu Tian help me install a few at home. Nangong Yun's eyes lit up and she immediately said to Meng Qingwu, Elder sister Qingwu, what do you think? Meng Qingwu's brows slightly knit as she silently thought of something. She was already a bit absent-minded. Who would have thought that Meng Yingying would mysteriously say, This doesn't count for anything. I'll show you something even more interesting. Nangong Yin was a very curious person as she excitedly clapped her hands. Really? Quickly, quickly. Elder sister wants to see it. Quickly let elder sister see it. Pa. The small room lit up. The dark and gloomy room became bright. The two of them were shocked. When they looked up, the two beautiful faces were stunned, as if they had seen something unbelievable. Their mouths opened so wide that an apple could be stuffed in. This time Nangong Yin was completely stunned. This is truly divine. The little glass cover can even shine. Eldest senior sister doesn't understand. Meng Yingying rarely acted cool, so she proudly sat down. Let me tell you, this is called a light bulb. Nangong Yin scratched her head. Light bulb? Such a strange name. I've never heard of it before. Meng Qingwu's voice trembled a bit. This wouldn't have been invented by Chu Tian, right? Of course it was invented by Chu Tian. After drawing several source energy arrays and instilling spirit energy into them, they can interact with each other and finally produce light. One was a respectful and fearful eldest senior sister. The other was a dear elder sister. When she saw their shocked and admiring expressions, there was no need to mention how proud Meng Yingying's heart was. This was clearly Chu Tian's invention, but she didn't know why. But it gave her a lot of face, as if it was her own invention. Strange genius. A rare genius in this world. How could a normal person invent this kind of thing? Chu Tian brought in a large pile of materials: flame pork, 8-horned alligator meat, 100-year black jade lotus root, scarlet cloud pepper, 3 sun fruit, white ginseng. Chu Tian brought in a large amount of materials. Half of them were demon beast meat, and the other half were precious herbs. Meng Yingying jumped up and said with puffed cheeks, "Where's my favorite steak? What kind of mess is this? What steak? No taste." Chu Tian picked up a pot with a source energy array drawn on it. "Look, you're in luck today. This one will personally cook and make a few dishes for you." "What? You can cook with this?" Meng Yingying and Nangong Yin were both stunned. Chu Tian poured oil into the pot and heated it. The oil was extracted from demon beasts, and soon a rich fragrance filled the air. Then he put in slices of pork and used the source energy array to disperse the energy in the demon beast meat, allowing the meat to be cooked at a visible speed. Then he added in the scarlet cloud pepper and various other condiments. A plate of fragrant spicy meat was finished. After around 20 minutes, spicy meat, stir-fried lotus root, braised alligator meat, several fragrant and tasty dishes were brought to the table. The names of the dishes didn't sound strange, but the ingredients used were demon beast meat and precious herbs. The continent had never eaten like this before. Chu Tian took out a large pile of herbs and a silver-scaled fish. "I'll make a pot of fish soup, you can eat first." "No need to be polite. Let me have a taste first." Meng Yingying quickly grabbed a pair of chopsticks and placed several large slices of flaming pork into her mouth. Her cheeks bulged out, looking very cute. She chewed a few times and was stunned for a few seconds before continuing to refuse. She chewed faster and faster as her eyes lit up and her face turned red. She danced around. So fragrant, so tender, so spicy, so delicious. This was too exaggerated. This is really not bad. Two elder sisters quickly have a taste. Meng Qinggu doubtfully tasted a piece of black jade lotus. This was a very precious herb and was used to make healing ointments and potions. However, when Chu Tian used it as a stir-fry ingredient with the meat, it tasted delicious. There was a lingering fragrance that made people feel intoxicated, making them want to swallow their own tongues. Unbelievable. Unimaginable. Could herbs be eaten like vegetables? Nangong Yin ate a piece of braised octagonal alligator meat. The meat was firm and full of tenacity. It was simply too delicious. The protective energy in the demon beast meat had completely disintegrated. It was not much different from normal food. However, the quality of the meat was far better than normal food. There was nothing to say about the nutrition. It was simply unbelievable. Demon beast meat and herbs could be processed in this way. Not only did it taste great, it could also fully develop the nutrients. This kind of food cooked with demon beast meat and herbs could definitely increase one's strength. Although it did not have an immediate effect like medicine, it could very gently strengthen and improve one's physique. It was not that the continent did not have the main method of cooking demon beast meat. In fact, any large family or large force would require their disciples to eat a certain amount of herbs or demon beast meat every day to strengthen their physique and achieve the effect of supporting their cultivation. However, cooking demon beast meat was relatively troublesome. It required a strong and hot fire to roast the demon beast meat. Without a certain level of ability or equipment, it could not be done. As for the taste, it was even more difficult to guarantee. The demon beast meat that people ate was generally old and coarse. It was almost impossible to swallow and could not be compared to delicacies. There was no doubt. This kind of easy, efficient, and fast source energy cooking method would definitely have great market prospects. There was no need to think about it. It would definitely make a lot of money. Understood. Finally understood. Meng Yingying secretly glanced at Chu Tian, who was busy cooking the soup. Her heart slowly flowed with a trace of warmth. Although he looked carefree and frivolous on the outside, he was actually a very meticulous person. It was not that he did not understand her hint. As for persuading her verbally, it was better to use a more direct method. "You're smart." Second Miss was very satisfied. "I won't argue with you this time." When Chu Tian brought the fish soup up, dripping with sweat, the table was in a mess. The 3 dishes were empty, and the chili had all been eaten by Meng Yingying. The 3 beauties had just finished their battle. Their heads were covered in sweat, and they looked very satisfied. Their slender white legs looked even more attractive under the light. Chu Tian was dumbfounded. "Damn, Then what am I supposed to eat? Nan Gongyin picked her teeth and seemed to want to continue. You dilly-dally yourself. Who else can you blame? Quickly bring the fish soup over. Big sister still hasn't eaten enough. Stop. This is mine. Less nonsense. There were at least 5 kinds of herbs in the silver scale fish soup. Not only did it greatly increase the taste of the soup, it also greatly increased the nutritional value. It had the effect of regulating the body and strengthening the physique. Chu Tian relied on pills to increase his source energy to the 3rd rank of body refinement, but his body's strength still needed to be improved. It was not impossible to use pills to strengthen the body, but taking pills for a long time would easily make the body dependent, which was not good for long-term development. Food was undoubtedly a relatively gentle and stable method. The 3 beauties did not care about their image, and did not understand the tiring Chu Tian at all. In a flash, they divided up more than half of the fish. Chu Tian was reduced to the point where he could only drink the soup. Nan Gongyin originally had high hopes, and now she was full of longing. Source energy cooking is indeed promising. Sister Qinggu, this southern cloud commerce is riddled with holes. Leaving it alone is very troublesome. Why not sell it and start a new business with us? Meng Qinggu was indeed a little moved. Although source energy cooking is good, I don't know if there are any limitations. Chu Tian, can you introduce it? Meng Yingying saw that her sister was interested, and immediately scratched her head. Sister asked you a question, hurry up and say it. Chu Tian drank the last mouthful of soup, and helplessly introduced. Source energy cooking is a safe and convenient technique. Its core technique is a special type of cooking source energy array. In short, there are no major flaws. Meng Qinggu could not believe it. There really aren't any flaws. If I had to say there are any limitations, there are only 2. First, the limitations of the tools. Second, the limitations of the chef's cultivation. A level 1 source energy array can cook level 1 food, and a level 2 source energy array can cook level 2 food. In other words, the higher the level of the food, the stronger the source energy array, and the higher the chef's cultivation. The black iron pot we are currently using can only hold a level 1 array. A level 2 source energy array is too strong, and the black iron pot can't handle it. We need to use black iron to make the pot, and black iron is 10 times more expensive than black iron. How could this be considered a flaw? This higher level source energy array, of course it needed a higher level carrier, and a higher level source energy to activate it. This was something everyone knew. So to cook level 2 demon beast meat, you first need to find black iron, or other high-level metal to make the source energy pot. At the same time, you need an awakened soul realm chef to personally cook. Only then can you activate the level 2 source energy array. There were only a few dozen awakened soul realm experts in Tiannan City. Which one of them didn't have a high status? Who would want to be a chef? Actually, a level 1 source energy array was more than enough, and the market was hard to imagine. Chu Tian saw that the opportunity was ripe and bluntly said, I have plans to start a company. However, I don't have any power or money right now. If you are willing to help me as a partner, I will naturally give you some of the shares. How about it? Are you interested in doing something big? Yes, of course. Nan Gongyin was the first to stand up. Count me in. Meng Yingying raised her hand and said, I want to join. Meng Qingwu's eyes lit up as she directly asked, What is the name of your company? Chu Tian did not even think before saying, Miracle Commerce. Several voices of agreement rang out at the same time. Nan Gongyun's eyes lit up. This name is very good. Light bulb? Source energy pot? This was an invention that could shock the entire kingdom. But in Chu Tian's eyes, it was just a foundation. Even in the era he lived in, it had already been eliminated. Flying in the sky, running on the ground, swimming in the water, from communication tools to war weapons, from super source energy calculators to source energy array internet, from mechanical puppets to artificial intelligence. All of these wonderful things from tens of thousands of years in the future. As long as the time and conditions were right, Chu Tian would have the opportunity to realize them. Right now, whether it was materials, abilities, talents, regional resources, or production levels, they were all too weak. So what Chu Tian could think of he could not do. Rice had to be eaten one bite at a time. The road had to be taken one step at a time. If he took too big a step, it would be easy to tear his eggs. Looking at the world as a whole, Tiannan City is very small. This country is very small, nothing more than a drop in the ocean. Once we set sail, we are destined to embark on a long journey. Chu Tian's body released a kind of passion that could bewitch people. Life is too boring. I want to become stronger bit by bit. I want to change this world bit by bit. Come with me. Meng Qinggu, Meng Yingying, and Nangong Yun's bodies trembled. Because in that moment, Chu Tian seemed to have changed into a different person. His ambition was too big. Was it really possible? But the three of them were looking forward to it. They were also very excited. Life was short, why not give it a try? They still had to have dreams. What if it came true? Chapter 22. In 2 days, the mess was cleaned up. Meng Qinggu brought a few people to apply for the registration of the new company. The establishment of a new company was unavoidable. Applying for the registration was only the first step. But with Nangong Yun's connections, the complicated procedures could be quickly completed. Suddenly, the sound of wild beasts howling came from the street ahead. Look, wolf riders. It's the Wolf Fang mercenaries. The Wolf Fang mercenaries are giving out benefits to the citizens. Everyone go grab them. The citizens' eyes were filled with awe and worship. The Wolf Fang mercenaries were one of the 3 largest mercenary groups under the Ye family. Their overall strength was very strong. Even the mayor had to give way. After all, this was a large mercenary group with tens of thousands of elite soldiers. At this moment, hundreds of awe-inspiring mercenaries were leading giant wolves, giant cows, and other magic beasts onto the street. Each magic beast's back was filled with red wine, beer, cooking oil, bread, flour, rice, and they were giving them to the citizens for free. Everyone don't fight. Everyone has a share. Everyone has a share. The Wolf Fang mercenaries will be opening a branch in Tiannan City. This is the branch president Yi Han. Please support him in the future. The citizens happily left after receiving the free benefits, inevitably singing the praises of the Wolf Fang mercenaries. This group of grandsons really had a way to stir up trouble. A young man who was not even 20 years old sat on the back of a war wolf and was surrounded by mercenaries. He wore silver armor and looked mighty and extraordinary. His appearance could be considered handsome, but his eyes were cold and sharp, and he had a strong and arrogant aura. Isn't that Sir Yi Xiong's eldest son Yi Han? This is our Tiannan City's famous genius. Didn't Sir Yi Xiong send him to Zhongzhou City to cultivate a year ago? Why did he get sent back now? There were 8 large states in the southern summer country, and Central State was one of them. The Ye family's headquarters was in Zhongzhou City, and Tiannan City was just an ordinary city. Yi Xiong was an elder of the Ye family. He was sent to Tiannan City 10 years ago to take care of the Ye family's business in Tiannan City. Among Yi Xiong's many sons, he valued 2 of them the most. His youngest son Yi Feng. His eldest son was Yi Han. Yi Feng was talented in alchemy, so he was sent to learn under Li Changyan. His eldest son was talented in cultivation, so he was sent to the middle state to use the family's resources to grow. When Yi Han's cold eyes swept across the crowd, he suddenly noticed a tall and sexy figure. He immediately licked his lips and rode his wolf over slowly. President Meng Qinggu, I haven't seen you for more than a year. You've become even more beautiful and charming. Meng Qinggu replied coldly, Thank you for the compliment. I think you're probably curious as to why I came back. You're thinking too much. I'm not interested at all. Yi Han's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness. A branch of the Wolf's Fang Chamber of Commerce will be established in Tiannan City. I've already purchased all of the Han family's businesses, and now they're all under my management. Speaking of this, I really have to thank you. Meng Qinggu bit her lips, but didn't say anything. Yi Han arrogantly raised his head and said, I have to say, Southern Cloud Commerce has gone a bit too far this time. This time even the Ye family in the main city of the Middle State has noticed you. In fact, you should know in your heart that in front of the Middle State Ye family, you're not even an ant. We can crush you to death with just a flick of our fingers. A naked threat. She really didn't think of it. Meng Qingwu's mood was a bit heavy. The wolf had just left, and now the tiger had come. This was a big problem. Right now they were preparing to establish a new chamber of commerce. If there was such a frightening opponent eyeing them covetously, she was afraid that no matter what they did, their hands and feet would be tied. Yi Han narrowed his eyes and looked at Chu Tian next to him. If I'm not wrong, this is the Chu Tian who seriously injured my little brother? It's me, your grandfather. Chu Tian never knew how to write the word polite. How can you be so shameless? Young miss is not interested in talking to you. Yet you still have the cheek to come and strike up a conversation. Scram. Don't block the way. Yi Han's complexion immediately changed. Several mercenaries pulled out their weapons at the same time. How dare you? Yi Han waved his hand for the mercenaries to put away their weapons. The corner of his mouth hung a trace of a slightly playful grin. Tiannan City's Ye family almost completely destroyed your Meng family. In these 6 years, our strength has increased several times. Not to mention, we also have the support of a large family. This time, I want to see how you will withstand our anger. Meng Qingwu and her sister's faces paled. This was basically admitting that what happened 6 years ago was done by them. Could it be that father and mother were really killed by the Ye family? This bastard. Meng Yingying's eyes turned red and was about to rush out, but she was pulled back by Meng Qingwu. Meng Qingwu said to Yi Han, "Black water commerce ignited the fire and burned themselves. This is something that everyone in Tiannan City knows. Southern Cloud Commerce has already suffered heavy losses. We have no intention of becoming enemies with you. I hope that the Ye family will be magnanimous." Meng Yingying was indignant and confused. Why did she have to lower her voice to this kind of person? They were the enemies who killed her parents. Yi Han sat on the battle wolf and looked down at them with an aloof expression. He felt a trace of pleasure in his heart. Since you're begging me so humbly, I'll give you a chance. Cripple Chu Tian's cultivation and hand him over to me. This way you can be safe for a while. As for the future, it will depend on whether you are obedient or not. Meng Yingying angrily shouted, "In your dreams! Rest assured, I do not intend to kill him. I heard that he has a bit of talent. This young master loves talent, so I will let him live. This is already a very generous way to deal with him. Otherwise, based on what he has done, it would not be too much to cut him into pieces. You have no other choice. Hand over Chu Tian, or bear the anger of the Ye family. Choose between the two. Think about it yourself. Have you said enough?" Chu Tian's face was filled with contempt. He impatiently yawned and suddenly crooked his finger at Nangong Yin. "You come here." Nangong Yin walked over. "What?" Chu Tian carelessly waved his hand. With a commanding tone he said, "Help me beat him up. When we split the shares, I will give you a little more." "Really? Thank you so much." Nangong Yin revealed a trace of joy. "Sister has been waiting for you to say that." Yi Han was very afraid of Nangong Yin. However, he still did not believe that Nangong Yin would dare to make a move against him. After all, the power of the Ye family was there. Seeing Nangong Yin walk over, he was still a little flustered. "Your bloodline is only a branch of the Nangong family. Nangong Yi finally got the position of mayor. I advise you not to be too arrogant. A strong dragon cannot suppress a snake. If you anger the Ye family, you won't even have the position of mayor. Why don't you try and touch me?" What Yi Han said was right. Nangong Yi was a branch of the family. He was parachuted into Tiannan City to be the mayor. Central State did not have the support of any family. There were also many enemy families. Nangong Yi's foundation in Central State could not even compare to the Xiong family. Therefore, he had to be careful with his words and actions. Otherwise, he would be in danger. The Ye family was a force that could not be underestimated. Nangong Yi had repeatedly told his daughter that no matter who she provoked, she must not provoke the Ye family. This was the reason why Yi Han was so fearless. Nangong Yin did not care. "Surnamed Yi, stop acting like a tyrant here. Don't think that I can't see that you are only at the 6th rank of body refinement. In Tiannan City, you can barely be considered a genius. In Central State, you are not even worth a fart. I think it is most likely that the Ye family did not think that you have much value, so they sent you here to manage the business. That's right, my family is a branch of the family. But do you think that the central state Ye family would offend one of the three great families, the Nangong family, for a small character like you? Don't try to flatter yourself. You. Yi Han's face suddenly became ashen. Nangong Yun's words poked at his sore spot. A year ago, he came to the central state main city full of hope. He did not think that as the top genius of Tiannan City, he would find that people with the same level of talent as him were plentiful. Yi Han was not valued at all. After being neglected for a whole year, he voluntarily applied to return home. Then, he encountered the Blackwater Commerce incident and picked up the position of branch president. Nangong Yun clenched her fists until they made a caw-caw sound. Her body suddenly blossomed with a red light. With a low phoenix cry, she immediately released a strong pressure, causing the surrounding mercenaries to involuntarily take a step back. Nangong Yun cracked her knuckles. How do you want to hit me? If I want to hit someone, of course I want to hit their face. Did this kind of question still need to be answered? Yi Han's face became pale, and his voice began to tremble. If you dare to touch me, I guarantee that your family will not have peace. There is nothing in Tiannan City that this old lady does not dare to do. Nangong Yun's aura surged. Her whole body was enveloped in red magic power. She flashed through the air like a meteor. Her right hand heavily slapped Yi Han's face, causing him to fall from the wolf's back to the ground. On the spot, a few teeth were knocked out. Everyone was completely dumbfounded. She actually hit him. Yi Han was Yi Xiong's most valued son. At the same time, he was one of the most outstanding geniuses in Tiannan City. At this moment, he had just returned from the central state to Tiannan City and had become the branch president of the Wolf's Fang Commerce. Who knew that as soon as he entered the city, he would be slapped in the face? Where did the Ye family's face go? Yi Han covered his swollen face. His eyes looked like they were about to spit fire. Being slapped in the face in front of everyone was a great humiliation to the arrogant him. You will definitely regret this. Pa! Yi Han received another slap and flew into the crowd. You trash, aren't you very arrogant? Nangong Yun grabbed him, her beautiful face fierce. Don't be a coward, fight back. Eldest young master. The mercenaries revealed a panicked expression, but no one dared to make a move against Nangong Yun. After all, Nangong Yun's cultivation was at the peak of the 9th level of body refinement. After all, Nangong Yun was the mayor's daughter. Not to mention, in the whole of Tiannan City, there were not many people who could beat Nangong Yun. Even if they could, how many people would dare to? Yi Han flew into a rage out of humiliation. Chu Tian, you let a woman help you. What kind of ability is that? In 12 days, Tiannan City will host a summit. If you are a man, then fight me fair and square. Nangong Yun's eyebrows rose. I will kill you first. Nangong Yun's temper was explosive, and she had lost her mind. Chu Tian immediately stopped her. That's enough. Yi Han had just been sent back from the central state, and was also Yi Xiong's eldest son. Although he was humiliated, he could still deal with the 2 slaps. At most, he would only cause trouble for Nangong Yi. If Nangong Yun really killed him in a moment of anger, there would be endless trouble. At least, now is not the time. What kind of person was Nangong Yun? She was a monster who was able to step into the 9th level of body refinement at the age of 18 in Tiannan City, where cultivation resources were scarce. She had a god-level spirit, a super genius with unlimited potential. Her strong personal strength and strong family background allowed her to do whatever she wanted in Tiannan City. Even the mayor could not control her. No one thought that such a witch in front of Chu Tian would be so obedient. Chu Tian looked at Yi Han a few times, and a trace of ridicule flashed in his eyes. I accept your challenge. We'll meet at that meeting in 10 days. Nangong Yun's eyes widened. Are you crazy? You are only at the 3rd level of body refinement. Chu Tian was at the 3rd level of body refinement. Yi Han was at the 6th level of body refinement. The gap between them was not just a little bit. Even if Chu Tian had the ability to enter hyperfocus, it would still be hard for him to defeat Yi Han. After all, the higher the level, the greater the gap between each level. It was impossible to defeat an opponent that was 3 levels higher than him. Don't we still have 10 days? What's the rush? Chu Tian very generously waved his hand. Hurry up and make this guy scram. Just looking at him makes me sick. Didn't you hear? Scram. Nangong Yun stared at Yi Han, her face fierce. Don't let this old lady see you again, or else I'll beat you up every time I see you. Yi Han covered his pig-head face, revealing a trace of deep hatred. Today's humiliation will be returned 100 times. Let's go. This group of fierce mercenaries were intimidated by Nangong Yun's despotic power. They all left with their tails between their legs. Yi Han's heart was extremely sullen. Being suppressed by a few monsters in Central State City was fine, but he never thought that he would be humiliated in Tiannan City. Chu Tian, just wait and see. At the meeting, I'll break your bones inch by inch to vent my hatred. Chapter 23. Meng Yingying's delicate cheeks turned red. If they weren't in public, she would have started cheering. Great. Really great. Elder sister was too cautious. A great enemy that she had a blood feud with. Why did she have to lower her voice to them? Chu Tian really did not disappoint her, fiercely venting her anger. Meng Qinggu was not as pure as her younger sister. Her eyebrows furrowed as her heart was filled with worry. The new company had just been established, and offending the Ye family was not a wise decision. But since things had come to this, she could not do anything. As for Chu Tian wanting to participate in the summit competition, did he not want his life? Meng Qinggu quickly reminded her. The Tiannan Summit is held once a year. It is the pinnacle gathering of the city's business, political, and military families. The summit has a very important segment called the Genius Competition. It allows the geniuses of the younger generation to compete on the stage. Every family attaches great importance to this, so it is not child's play. Miss Nangong was the champion of the competition 2 years ago, so she should know better. Nangong Yun nodded her head and added, everyone is only allowed to participate in the genius competition once, and the participants cannot be over 20 years old. The competition is related to the distribution of resources, so it is something all the families must fight over. Moreover, the competition is an open arena competition, so don't expect me to help you. Yi Han did not participate last year to avoid me, and last year he went to Central State, so he did not participate either. This time he will definitely win. Meng Yingying heard this. How could this be? Yi Han did not participate for 2 years in a row, and had studied in Central State for a year. Now that he was almost 20 years old, he had reached the upper limit of the competition. His strength would definitely be very strong. Not to mention, the other families would also have many experts. Elder sister had brought her to see it once or twice. Every year the competition was very fierce, and there would always be casualties. Chu Tian's cultivation was not high, so wouldn't he be in danger? Meng Yingying used her finger to poke Chu Tian. Hey, don't get involved. Nangong Yin continued to say. That's right, he's purely looking for abuse. Chu Tian became indignant. Do you guys have no confidence in me? How do you know I'll be tortured? Well, I, Chu Tian, have lived for 2 lifetimes and have never been looked down upon by anyone. I was just saying it casually, but now I have to go. The 3 women looked at each other in dismay. Chu Tian had clearly made up his mind, so they could only sigh helplessly. Forget it, just let him join in the fun. With Chu Tian's strength, he would probably be eliminated in the preliminaries, so there was no need to worry about him going up against Yi Han. It was probably because of the pressure. For the past 2 days, Chu Tian had been consuming large amounts of medicinal herbs and demon beast meat. At the same time, he had begun to train intensely. The strength of his spirit energy was gradually approaching the peak of the 3rd level. As long as there was a suitable opportunity, he would be able to break through to the 4th level of body refinement. The 4th rank of the body refinement realm was enough for him to compete with Yi Han. If he improved a little more, even if it was only the peak of the 4th rank, he would have the confidence to defeat Yi Han. In terms of time, it was enough. Other than that, the application for miracle commerce was successful, and it was called Miracle Source Energy Array Technology Limited Chamber of Commerce. Currently, the Chamber of Commerce was just an empty shell. It did not have any products, nor did it have any business. It was very low-key, and not many people knew about it. Right now, no one could imagine it. This kind of Chamber of Commerce that was born in a small city in a small country, with poor resources, would set off an unimaginably strong revolution and shock in the entire continent in the future. Meng Qingwu began to report the situation of the past 2 days. I bought 2 small glass factories and began to prepare for the production of light bulbs. As she spoke, she took out 2 small glass balls from her bosom. These are samples, you guys take a look first. The glass ball was a closed pear shape with a few thin metal pieces inside, like a metal flower bud. These were fire copper pieces used to engrave source energy arrays. The few of them looked at each other and were very satisfied. At least it was much better than the one in Chu Tian's room. Chu Tian sized it up. Overall, it was quite rough. However, the current production level and production technology were limited. It was not realistic to want to make luxurious lamps and lanterns, so they could only make do with it. Meng Qingwu continued to say, I plan to buy a high-class restaurant in the center of South Sky City, preparing to open a source energy restaurant. Only we have a problem. We are lacking people. The production of light bulbs was almost completely done by hand, so it was impossible for Chu Tian to do it alone. Chu Tian thought it was something big. That's easy. Pick a secret production base and find a group of people who are safe and trustworthy. They also know how to use talismans. I'll give them the production technology. Meng Qingwu's eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. You're this confident in taking out the technology? You wouldn't want me to be responsible for the entire production, right? Chu Tian's mouth dropped open in an exaggerated manner. This will tire me to death. How many beautiful girls will be heartbroken? How many pitiful commoners will suffer? How much damage will the world suffer? Can you afford it? Meng Yingying's face turned red as she scolded. Pay. Narcissistic. The light bulb was a subversive product. The continent's biological lamps and crystal lamps were very expensive. As for candles and oil lamps, they were not easy to use. Other lighting methods were not popular or troublesome. In short, they were not satisfactory. This light bulb was a cheap and practical product. It would definitely cause a big sensation, not to mention its economic value. The commerce would quickly earn its first pot of gold. This was a technology with unlimited prospects. Chu Tian took it out without even blinking? Did he trust her that much? Meng Qingwu's heart was a little moved. In reality, she was thinking too much. The reason why Chu Tian took out the technology without blinking was because he did not put it in his eyes. As the commerce's first product, the earlier it came out the better. South Cloud Commerce had a new pharmaceutical factory. At the beginning, they had considered safety and secrecy, so they built it in the suburbs. It was very sturdy and the goods and materials were transported through secret passages. This way, it would not be easy for the secret product to be exposed. This pharmaceutical factory had already stopped operating, so it was now turned into a secret production base for the light bulb. Meng Qingwu selected 10 trustworthy people, and Nangong Yin from the Nangong family's guards. She found 20 people to make up the numbers. These people were not central state locals, and they were loyal to the Nangong family. From a security point of view, there was no problem. The next day, Chu Tian personally went to the factory to inspect. The production base was in the suburbs, and there were mercenaries guarding it. There were several trusted people inside, so it was a very safe place. Chu Tian gave them the source energy array design for the light bulb. Like this, Miracle Commerce's first production team was formed. After everything was done, Chu Tian did not stop. He rode the beast carriage with Meng Yingying back to the city. Meng Yingying sat in the bumpy beast carriage. Her small face was filled with longing. The day Miracle Commerce is officially established, the entire South Sky City will be stirred. It really makes people look forward to it. Chu Tian was about to say something. Who would have thought that at this time? A strong sense of danger would come over him. This kind of intuition towards unknown danger had saved Chu Tian countless times. Therefore, Chu Tian believed it without a doubt and acted on reflex. He suddenly jumped over and hugged Meng Yingying. The two of them tightly hugged each other as they fell onto the floor of the carriage. Meng Yingying's young and beautiful body was like a ball of soft and elastic cotton. Meng Yingying was scared silly by Chu Tian. Her face turned red, and her heart began to beat faster. Chu Tian. You wouldn't be thinking of doing that to me, right? Pung pung pung. 3-4 cold arrows pierced through the carriage. Meng Yingying suddenly woke up, and her small face turned white. Someone wants to assassinate us. Who could it be? There was no time to think. So. Another few arrows were shot in. The arrows were filled with strong spirit energy. It was like shooting through a layer of paper, easily piercing through a few centimeters of the template. Chu Tian covered Meng Yingying's mouth. From the direction of the arrows, and the density of the arrows, he made a judgment. Northeast direction. At least 7 or 8 people. Chu Tian picked up Meng Yingying and fiercely slammed the carriage window. The two of them flew out of the carriage and landed heavily on the ground. When Meng Yingying looked back, she saw that the coachman had lost several blood vessels and was now dead. The wildebeest that was pulling the carriage was startled and crashed into a tree, causing the whole carriage to fall to the ground. From the underbrush, more than 10 black-clothed people suddenly came out. The number was even more than they expected. Chu Tian pulled Meng Yingying and shouted, "The forest in front, quickly hide inside." The black-clothed people jumped up with astonishing speed. Most of them were at the 6th rank of body refinement. With this kind of strength, even in Tiannan City, they could be considered experts. Nanyun Commerce's guard Meng Shan was only at the peak of the 7th rank. They were definitely a group of well-trained assassins. This place was 5 miles away from Tiannan City. Every day, there were soldiers patrolling to prevent and control the demon beasts. There were also many Tiannan Commerce's material factories, lumberyards, quarries, farms, and so on. Although it was the outskirts, it was still a safe area. Chu Tian had been in seclusion for the past few days. He did not expect that as soon as he went out, he would encounter such a dangerous ambush. Chu Tian could only helplessly take Meng Yingying and escape into the forest. This was very risky. Outside of Tiannan City, the safe area and the dangerous area were clearly divided. This was because the demon beasts were very territorial. Randomly running around could disturb the demon beast's territory. If a powerful demon beast was attracted, the consequences would be unthinkable. Their reaction is not slow. A sinister-looking middle-aged man coldly said, "Chase. I want to catch him alive. I want him to live a life worse than death." The black-clothed assassins threw away their bows and pulled out their weapons. Like a dozen arrows, they chased after them. Meng Yingying felt the assassins approaching. She clenched her teeth and said to Chu Tian, "I'll hold them off. Hurry up and run. Don't tease me. With just the peak of the 4th rank, any one of them can kill you in a second." Although Chu Tian was moved, he bitterly smiled and said, "Don't speak nonsense." "I'm not." Meng Yingying took out an almost transparent light red pill from her bosom. Her small face showed a determined expression. "I'll eat this pill. It should be able to hold them off for a while." "Crimson Lotus pill? Why are you carrying this?" "This pill has a special commemorative value to me, so I've always kept it by my side." Chu Tian became excited. There really was a way out. He wanted to hug Meng Yingying and kiss her. "Second miss, you are my savior. Give it to me." Chu Tian snatched the Crimson Lotus pill and swallowed it. A burning hot feeling emitted from his dantian and instantly spread through his meridians. There was a slight prickling feeling. Under some kind of strong stimulation, his body began to produce spirit energy faster and faster, making his spirit energy several times stronger. The Crimson Lotus pill still needs some time to fully take effect. Chu Tian picked up Meng Yingying, and with a light kick of his legs, he released his powerful elemental energy. Without much effort, he was able to jump several meters away. His body was as light as a swallow. Shadow swallow steps. This martial art was not profound, but with his current cultivation, it was the best choice. This kind of martial art could greatly increase his speed. Chu Tian also had the minute subtlety ability. Even in a forest environment, he could still advance at an extremely fast speed. The sinister-looking middle-aged man revealed a look of astonishment. Damn! How did his speed become so fast? Immediately increase your speed. No matter what, we cannot let him escape. Meng Yingying was carried in Chu Tian's embrace. Probably due to the effects of the Crimson Lotus pill, she felt that Chu Tian's body was becoming hotter and hotter, as if there was a flame burning in his meridians. She couldn't help but worry. This kind of pill that forcefully increased his cultivation would definitely cause intense pain. She couldn't do anything but tightly hug Chu Tian, hoping to share some of his burden. The Crimson Lotus pill's effects were fully displayed within 5 minutes, causing Chu Tian's spirit energy to increase by several folds. From the peak of the 3rd rank, he had instantly jumped to the peak of the 5th rank. This was the limit of the pill's effects. Furthermore, the Crimson Lotus pill's effects could not be maintained for long. Once the effects were over, it would be replaced by an intense side effect, causing one to feel intense fatigue, almost to the point of being unable to move. No, it wasn't enough. This kind of speed wasn't enough to throw them off. Chu Tian revealed a serious expression. Second young miss, they are coming for me. I've implicated you. Meng Yingying stared at Chu Tian's face, but there wasn't much fear in her eyes. Rather, there was a kind of blurriness. She was lying in Chu Tian's embrace, feeling that Chu Tian's heartbeat was fast and filled with power, making her feel a sense of security, like she was in a dream. Meng Yingying's face was filled with stubbornness. I'm not afraid. Second young miss. Don't call me second young miss. It sounds strange. Meng Yingying's crystal clear eyes revealed a complex look. Can you just call me Yingying? All right. Chu Tian's heart felt warm. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to at least protect the safety of the girl in his embrace. Chu Tian's aura gradually became fierce. Yingying, I'm prepared to go all out. Meng Yingying nodded her head. Go, you don't need to worry about me. Chu Tian jumped high into the air. Swallow shadow steps, swallow returns to the nest. Chu Tian stepped on a big tree, and without the slightest inertia, he suddenly bounced back. The black-clothed men saw that they were about to catch up, so they rushed forward at full speed. They did not think that Chu Tian would suddenly counterattack. Ah! A pitiful cry rang out. Chu Tian swept his leg through the air, and a black-clothed man at the 6th level of body refinement died on the spot with his bones and tendons broken. The other black-clothed men were shocked. No one thought that Chu Tian's battle strength would be this terrifying. Chapter 24. When Meng Yingying saw the sinister middle-aged man, she immediately recognized him and angrily shouted, Han Song, so it's you! That's right. The middle-aged man was Han Song. After Blackwater Commerce was destroyed, and Han Song escaped through the secret passage, he spent a lot of money to bribe a group of assassins to hide in secret, waiting for the chance to take revenge. At this moment, Han Song's eyes, which were as sinister as an old owl's, were brewing with a vicious glint. This brat belongs to me, and the woman belongs to you. I only have one request: ruthlessly ravage and torture her. Don't let her die too comfortably. The black-clothed man revealed a lewd expression, and agreed with a sinister smile. Don't worry, we're very good at this kind of thing. We'll definitely make you satisfied. Seeing this, Meng Yingying's small face turned pale, and she secretly prepared herself. Even if she had to commit suicide, she couldn't be captured by the other party. The black-clothed men were all at the 6th level of body refinement. Han Song had even reached the 7th level of body refinement. A person who forcefully used medicine to raise his cultivation, but lacked battle experience and proficiency in martial arts, simply couldn't beat a cultivator of the same level who cultivated normally. What's more, Chu Tian was only at the peak of the 5th level of body refinement. What's more, these black-clothed men were well-trained assassins, not something ordinary cultivators and martial artists could compare to. Could they win? Impossible. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. Han Song's heart was filled with the thrill of revenge. Ha ha ha, you fell into my hands so quickly. You think you can deal with us by using medicine to raise your cultivation? If I don't cut you into 1,000 pieces today, I won't be able to resolve the hatred in my heart. Chu Tian didn't waste any words, because the effect of the medicine was very short. Every minute and second was precious. His legs suddenly kicked off and he attacked like a meteor. "Old man, let me see what you've got." Was this guy crazy? He actually took the initiative to seek death. "Get out of the way. I'll do it myself." Han Song had cultivated for half his life and could be considered an expert in Tiannan City. How could he be afraid of Chu Tian, who hadn't even grown his hair yet? In his eagerness for revenge, he roared and brazenly faced Chu Tian head-on. His right fist gathered surging magic power. His entire arm emitted a faint metallic luster, and he smashed towards Chu Tian with a sinister smile. This was a martial art of extreme yang, Vajra fist. Han Song could almost see the scene of Chu Tian's bones breaking and tendons snapping. Die! Chu Tian had already entered the state of minute subtlety. Everything in the world suddenly slowed down. From Han Song gathering his strength to punching, the whole process was clearly imprinted in his mind. Based on the current strength of his body and origin energy, it was impossible for him to face it head-on. Otherwise he would either die or be crippled. Once the Vajra fist was used, one's arm would be as hard as iron, and the strength would be as great as a dragon. It was a martial art that was both offensive and defensive, but it had a very obvious weakness. Too slow. The pores all over Chu Tian's body spewed out origin energy, and it actually formed a stream of air around his body, causing Chu Tian's forward speed to suddenly increase. Combined with the powerful judgment of minute subtlety, he abruptly dodged Han Song's ferocious fist wind. Damn it! He dodged it. Han Song hurriedly withdrew, and Chu Tian seized this fleeting opportunity. His right arm condensed and compressed surging origin energy, and like a rocket, he heavily smashed onto Han Song's chest. Rushing heaven fist. Han Song's clothes were instantly torn apart. The air pressure that erupted sent him flying, and he fiercely crashed into a large tree. Countless leaves fell down, and the thick tree also snapped. Han Song was sent flying by Chu Tian in one move. Everyone was shocked. A person who relied on medicine to temporarily increase his cultivation. According to reason, it was impossible for him to skillfully display the true strength of a peak 5th rank body refinement cultivator. Even if he really had the strength of a peak 5th rank body refinement cultivator, it was still impossible for him to directly repel Han Song. In between there was a gap of 2 ranks. Simply monstrous. This was a genius even more terrifying than Nangong Yin. If he didn't get rid of him today, he wouldn't have another chance in the future. Han Song wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and sinisterly laughed. Your fist technique is not bad, and your speed is very fast, but your strength is too weak. You can't beat me. No matter how amazing his battle strength was, he was still limited by his cultivation. Chu Tian's swift and violent fist was unable to break the protective origin energy of a 7th rank body refinement cultivator. Although Han Song received not a light injury, it wasn't enough to seriously injure him to the point of death. Han Song coldly said, "You originally had a good future, but recklessly stood up for the Meng family. The hatred of killing my son, the hatred of exterminating my family, is absolutely irreconcilable. I will use the cruelest method in the world to torture you. 10 days, 100 days, 1,000 days, I will make you beg for death. I will make you regret being born into this world. You've said too much." Chu Tian's eyes flashed with a trace of ridicule, and with a cold tone, he said one word at a time. "In fact, you're already dead." "You're already dead? This brat wouldn't be crazy, right? Otherwise, how could he say such words? A full-strength strike only caused a minor injury, nothing more, and he actually dared to say such crazy words." Han Song felt a burst of abnormality, and his 2 eyes suddenly widened into round circles. He didn't know when, but a talisman had been stuck to his chest. The talisman's array pattern emitted light, which was clearly a sign that it had been activated. From the red lines, it was a fire attribute talisman. When did he stick it on? Not good. Han Song was scared out of his wits, and simply didn't have enough time to throw away the talisman, because he heard Chu Tian's cold voice. Explode! Like a terrifying death knell, it fiercely rang in Han Song's heart. No! The talisman exploded, and the raging flames rolled up several meters high. Han Song was directly blown away like a piece of paper. Rushing Heaven Fist was a diversionary tactic. The real attack was this talisman technique. There were many auxiliary professions on the continent, such as talisman masters, alchemists, blacksmiths, and so on, all forming their own schools. Most of the auxiliary professions leaned towards the production type, and only talisman masters assisted in battle. The most famous talisman master in Tiannan City was Zhang Liqing. It was impossible for Chu Tian not to take any precautions. These past few days, he had specially made several talismans for himself, specifically for self-defense in special circumstances. The talismans that Chu Tian had personally made were much more powerful than those of this era. When activated with the magic power of a peak 5th rank body refinement cultivator, this detonation talisman was enough to kill Han Song in one hit. Han Song fell heavily to the ground. His entire chest had been blown open, and his entire body was still burning with flames. He roared and struggled, but with this kind of injury, even an awakened soul cultivator would die. I'm not willing. At this moment he suddenly regretted. Why wasn't he content? Why did he make a move against the Meng family? Blackwater commerce was already like the sun in the sky. If they had continued to operate peacefully, how could they have ended up like today? Just a moment ago, he was incomparably arrogant. Now he died with his eyes wide open. The contrast was so big, how could people accept it? This brat's methods were really terrifying. The black-clothed man revealed a cautious expression. Chu Tian felt the cold killing intent pervading the air, and his eyebrows wrinkled a little. The most troublesome opponent had already been eliminated. But Chu Tian didn't have that many talismans, and he didn't have that much magic power to activate them. The same move could not be used repeatedly. Perhaps a bloody battle of life and death was unavoidable. The Crimson Lotus pill's effect was roughly 15 minutes. This time was definitely enough, but his chances of victory were only 20 to 30%, and this was still in a direct confrontation. If the assassin held Meng Yingying hostage to threaten him, Chu Tian might not even have a 20% chance of victory. No matter what, rather than sitting and waiting for death, it was better to go all out and fight. Even an old fox like Han Song fell. You brat really do have some methods. But using the talisman technique consumed a lot of your magic power. How will you deal with us next? The black-clothed man slowly surrounded him. I advise you to obediently give up resisting. We will be merciful and give you a chance to commit suicide. As for that woman, after us dozen brothers enjoy ourselves, we will naturally give her a quick death. Chu Tian slowly breathed in and out, adjusting the magic power in his body, letting his body maintain its peak condition. What's with all this nonsense? My life is right here. If you really have the ability, then come and take it. Even when facing an absolute disadvantage, even when facing the threat of death, Chu Tian did not shrink back at all. Meng Yingying was somewhat absent-minded. She believed that with Chu Tian's ability, if he wanted to escape alone, he was completely capable of doing it. But this usually cheeky, frivolous, and lecherous youth, at this moment became overbearing, frivolous, and decisive, like a young hero who never knew what fear was, blocking in front of her without a second thought. That body was not considered tall, but it was like a tall mountain, blocking the turbulent torrent for her. Chu Tian, you're really so silly. A crystalline teardrop flowed out from the corner of Meng Yingying's eye. Good lad. Attack for me. I don't believe that a mere peak 5th level, he can still deal with our encirclement. The black-clothed men were about to launch an attack. Right at this time, from the left side of the forest, a brutal and bloodthirsty aura suddenly gushed out, accompanied by a low and bloodthirsty roar. Roar! There were magic beasts. Everyone's heart jumped, and immediately looked over. A pair of emerald green eyes appeared in the forest, but it was filled with coldness, cruelty, and tyranny. This was impressively a giant black wolf. This wolf was about the height of a person, and its body was extremely large. Its most notable feature was the pair of huge wings on its back. Black-winged wind wolf. For the first time, Chu Tian revealed a look of shock. Because an adult black-winged wind wolf generally had the battle strength of a peak 9th level body refinement cultivator. Not to mention these people, even Xiong Tianyan might not be its opponent. Even if the terrifying Nangong Yun was present, he would still have to experience a bitter battle to defeat this wolf. While the others were in a daze, Chu Tian decisively used swallow shadow steps, and like a gust of wind, he carried Meng Yingying on his shoulder, and with a leap, he jumped into the forest, and in the blink of an eye, he had slipped out 100 meters. Fuck. He ran away. Quickly chase after him. The winged wind wolf's body glowed with a greenish-black spirit energy, and 2 greenish wind blades shot out at a speed that was hard to see with the naked eye. 2 black-clothed men wanted to chase after Chu Tian, but were cut in half at the waist. This beast was this powerful? Let's not care about that brat first. If we don't kill this wolf, then no one will be able to escape today. The winged wind wolf roared and pounced over like a phantom. With a swipe of its claws, it crushed the head of one of the black-clothed men on the spot. Then, it pounced on another black-clothed man and easily tore open his stomach. Kill. A sword stabbed into the winged wind wolf's back, but the result was that it did not even cut through the winged wind wolf's skin. The winged wind wolf's body emitted a large amount of profound runes, and a surging power suddenly rebounded, causing the long sword to instantly break apart. The fragments were like flying knives, all stabbing into the black-clothed man's body. Then, the demon wolf fiercely slammed him 10 meters away. The black-clothed man was completely dumbfounded. We can't beat it. Quickly run. These weak humans attacking it had completely angered the cruel winged wind wolf. How could it let any one of them go? Under the surge of green spirit energy, it became as fast as the wind. Like an arrow that was shot out, it flashed back and forth a few times in the air. The forest was filled with screams and blood, and flesh blossomed everywhere. There was no suspense. The black-clothed men were completely annihilated. The demon wolf began to wantonly enjoy the human flesh and blood. When its stomach was completely full, it used its nose to sniff the forest. There were actually 2 that ran away. The winged wind wolf's temperament was extremely cruel, and it did not have the habit of letting any prey go. It immediately followed the scent and chased. This was a demon beast that was at the peak of the 9th level of body refinement. How could Chu Tian compare to its speed? The winged wind wolf had already eaten its fill, and purely chased after its prey with a tyrannical attitude. It did not use its full strength, purposely not catching up, nor did it kill the 2 people. It only occasionally sent out 1 or 2 wind blades to provoke its prey. Its green eyes had a playful look, as if it really enjoyed watching humans flee in a sorry state. This was like seeing a ghost. This damned beast was using me as a toy to play with after dinner. Even if it was against the black-clothed assassins, I would have a 20 to 30% chance of winning. But now, my chance of winning was completely 0. Fuck, why am I so unlucky? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.